Yeah,
Well,
happy Thanksgiving.
as Edna Mode says in The Incredibles, gobble 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 gobble. And if you haven't seen the movie, you won't get the joke. So if you refuse to affirm God, that is the denial of God, in spite of the fact that you claim otherwise. Okay, it's kind of like Bill Clinton going, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky," because he wanted to give this definition of sexual relations, a proprietary notion, because the actions he was dealing with her wasn't sexual relations. It all depends on the meaning of is. So the bottom line is atheists and agnostics, they know God exists, but they don't want to acknowledge him. So they just every merry day fool themselves, suppressing that which they know. See, once the idea of God pops into your head as a child, it's not anything that you can ever eradicate. But on a day-to-day basis, you can suppress it by just saying dumb, silly cliches like, there's no evidence for God, there's no evidence for God, like the cowardly lion. There's no evidence for God. There's no evidence for God. And then when you ask them to explain that, they simply can't do it. And then they go, you're shifting the burden of proof. You're shifting the burden of proof. Never fails to happen.
Darth, what is the evidence for God?
Everything is the evidence for God, sir. And that evidence, everything indicates and reveals God, and it reveals it by his purpose. Everything that exists indicates the eternal. Okay? It's that simple. And it could only indicate the eternal by the eternal's purpose and will, and that eternal would have to be an agent. Now, on the other hand, if you want to deny that everything indicates the eternal and by the eternal's purpose, then you're going to have to give me an argument for that. Okay, I'm giving you an analysis. I'm giving you a rationale of why everything indicates that. In order for anything to exist, in order for anything to be, there will have to be something that is eternal, unless, of course, you want to believe that things pop into existence for no reason. The very reason, or excuse me, the very basis of you even asking the question, what is the evidence of God, is because you consider God a superfluous or even possibly an unnecessary overlay that the natural world is a given. So I will ask you a question, since I've already answered your question. What is your evidence that the natural world is simply a given without reference to God as creator? Do you have an answer to that? Dead silence.
Can I go?
Really tough. I've never heard it presented like that.
That was good, Parakeet. You have to do a little practice on that, but that was good. I like that. That was a good sound effect.
I'll make a training montage or something.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna. Well, sure. Yes.
Bring it on. He's stacking them.
I know you like Apple products a lot
right now.
Wait, what's the Big Bang Theory?
Let's not. Hold on a second. Hold on. I appreciate everybody wants to comment, but we have law and order here. So, Bahira, you go first, and then everyone else can go next.
Awesome. So I know you love Apple products, and I'm moving into that realm now.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Not all?
Some of them.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask, what is the best iPhone to get? Because I got to get rid of my Galaxy S8.
The best one? Well, right now I'm using a 12 Pro Max, and I've loved it since day one. I've had no problems with it. So I would get. Well, it all depends on how much you want to spend. Okay.
Money is not an issue.
Okay, if money is not an issue, then I would get the 14. Well, right now you're probably going to be difficult to get your hands on an iPhone 14 because it's Christmas time. I'd recommend try going into an Apple store, right?
Mhm.
And also, what you can do is try going onto their shopping for it online. You may have better luck ordering it, but you may have to wait till after Christmas. But if money's not an issue, I would get the Pro. You know, you get a better camera. You just get better features. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. So,
Um,
what's like the main difference between pro versus not pro? Usually.
I think the Pro comes with the 120 refresh rate, which makes everything butterily smooth on your screen. Now, if you've never been acquainted with the 120 hertz screen refresh, and if you had a lower end Apple model, you're not going to miss it. But once you start using the 120 hertz refresh screen, and then you go back to other one, you notice that it's not anywhere near as fast. But Apple's smoothness without the 120 hertz, when it's 60 hertz, is a bit better than its competitors. But most of its competitors now have 120 hertz. So the Pro, you're going to get 120 hertz. You're going to get a vastly better camera with greater, distances and zoom features. You just get a few more bells and whistles and features. But you know what? If money isn't an issue and you get a lower end model, those are good too. But I would just recommend getting a good protective case for it when you get it. Because a phone that big, I don't know how big your hands are, but I use the OtterBox Defender, which I love. It's just incredibly protective. And of course, always get a screen. Do you put screen protectors on them? You still there?
Yeah, I am. I have some sick iPhone cases somewhere here.
Yeah, but they're going to be
Like,
specific to the model. They're not
yeah,
going
they
to
got
fit the
some like
14 when you
rainbow
get it.
backgrounds. I mean, not rainbow. They have like this laser hologram like print on them, and so when you move them around in the light, it like goes through all the different colors. It's really cool.
What kind of phone you have now?
Galaxy S8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just like getting
it-
slower and slower now. I think what happens is the battery gets like lower voltage over time, and then that slows down processing power.
That's with iPhones as well, though.
So iPhone,
Yeah.
they had a very kind of like unique like way to like put people at ease about that. They said over time, either your CPU gets slower or your battery. And so you want to optimize fuck, you know what? I actually forget what they said, but it had a unique way to absolve that issue. Here, I'll find
you might be able to have your battery replaced. I know you can do that with the iPhones. You can go in, you pay a fee, and they'll swap in a new battery if you want to keep your thing. The nice thing about the Apples is they have a much longer shelf life when you get them. Plus, they have a much higher resale value than the Android. But you know what? If the Apple phone didn't exist, the Androids would be fine. I just like the iPhone better. There are certain things that Android phones do better, and there are certain things that Apple phones do better, and then you just have to decide which one you favor. So I'm an Apple guy. Plus, I have a MacBook, and I like the tight
iPhones.
integration between the phone and the my MacBook.
iPhone, not Apple phone. I'm just kidding.
Did I say Apple phone? Just shows I say dumb crap when I'm tired.
No,
They
you're
do
good.
have
I'm
an Apple
just
on the
making
Mac.
fun of
I
you.
think
You're good.
Mr. Dawkins,
Yes.
does Christianity support the institution of absolute monarchy?
The New Testament doesn't establish any form of government.
Would you lay your life down for your sovereign?
Not necessarily.
Assuming he's a noble man and the war is just.
If he were parakeet, then I would do that. Yes.
Interesting. Would you lay your life down for Joe Biden?
Probably not. I wouldn't lay down my life for a senile old man who's destroying America.
Would you lay your life down for Trump?
Not necessarily. Anyway, that's a bit off topic. So ambitious, you were outspoken earlier. You wanted to say something.
Oh no, not really. I was just making fun of you for calling it an Apple phone.
When people die in war, soldiers, they're typically not dying for their sovereign or whatever. They typically view it as protecting their people or their family. They're not like going out there just to die for the king or whatever.
The sovereign embodies the people.
Anyway, so we're going to move on. So we were discussing atheism and agnosticism. I was laying out the grounds why you can't escape believing in God, but then there are people who suppress that. And we didn't hear a response from somebody who says, how does the world reveal God? And then when I explained how the world reveals God, and then I asked him, you wouldn't ask the question unless you already took the position that the world does not reveal God. And you'll notice we heard crickets.
What was the reasoning behind the world being revelatory of God?
Are you a bean?
No. Mufasa.
Okay. So the reasoning, you mean the reasoning why the world reveals God?
Yeah.
Well, because all things that possess actuality and identity are indicative and revelatory of the eternal God by his purpose. And it is undeniable otherwise. That's why. I mean, I can expand on it greatly, but that's it in a nutshell.
That seems pretty airtight to me.
Yeah, all things that possess actuality, they possess actuality because of the eternal, but they could only indicate and reveal the eternal if the eternal purposed it, and the only way an eternal could purpose it if it was a mind, namely God. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if somebody chooses not, yeah,
that's fantastic.
So
that's definitely not.
So what I'm,
that's amazing.
No, it's not. No, but even when God reveals, but even when God reveals Himself,
line of reasoning.
Even if it were, it wouldn't be a problem for God.
Do you are you objecting, or are you just being like a passive aggressive little baby? What's going on?
No, it's fantastic. It's like the world's best reasoning ever. Like premise one, the world is revelatory of God because it has to be. It's a fantastic conclusion. The world is revelatory.
That's not how I articulate it.
Okay, what's premise one?
Oh, premise one. Well, you mean in the argument for the Christian God? The argument for the Christian God is in the case that the Christian God exists and he reveals himself in an undeniable and irrefutable way, then we can know that he exists. The world around us in an undeniable, irrefutably way reveals and implies God. Therefore, God exists.
What's the argument for premise two?
That the alternative faces absurdity, then nothing would mean anything.
Do you mean contradiction?
No.
What do you mean by absurdity?
Okay. In order for if things possess identity, then because they possess identity and actuality, they'll either be revelatory of the eternal. Okay, I'm just asking why you're over talking me while I'm answering it.
You're not answering the question.
Yeah, you're over talking me while I'm answering you, aren't you?
What was the question?
So what I'm saying, either you, yeah, you know what? Your welcome has just about been worn out. Okay, so I suggest you stop. Okay, have a nice day. All right.
Notice he wants to object, but he doesn't have the balls to come out directly and say it, so he just says it like passively aggressively.
So there's only two positions that one can take. Either everything individually and collectively reveals the creator, or it does not. Okay. Now, just to show you I'm not a hard. Now, do you accept that the world in part and in whole reveals the creator? Do you accept that?
No, I'm an atheistic
one
fideist.
can
I
take.
said that before.
Okay. So you're asking for an argument,
Can
but you
you
see,
answer
you
my
don't. But
question,
you don't listen to me. Wow. You are a punk.
I'm just gonna
Obviously,
leave if you don't answer my question.
mommy, and daddy really failed with you. He's an atheistic fideist. You know what that means is I deny the existence of God and I have no reason whatsoever why I do that. Well, thank you for confirming what the Bible says. It says they are without a defense. They are without an excuse when they turn and worship the creation. Thank you for almost quoting Romans 1.
Dude, fucking Darth Dawkins is a savage.
What was it fideist again?
Sometime. What's that? Somebody?
What was the atheistic
Darth-
fideist again? I forgot what you said.
Yeah, you got to get closer to your microphone, somebody.
No, I said what was the atheistic fideist again? I never heard of that before.
Fideism is to believe something for which you don't have a rational basis for it. Okay. It's like blind faith.
Yeah, Darth Dawkins
So-
in here taking dubs.
So an atheist fideist is somebody who believes that God does not exist, but they don't have a rational basis for it. But here he is. This guy's going, what's the argument for God? What do I need a God for when you're a fideist? Where do they grow these people? Hey, Mufasa, you're going to find out when life is over. Okay. When the younger you are, you think life goes by slow, but it doesn't. You're going to learn out the hard way. You know what? And that day is coming for each one of us. Our hearts are ticking away. People just don't realize the fragility of life. We're hanging by a thread every single day, and it is only by the grace of God that our lives continue day to day. But people want to give God the double middle fingers. Okay, keep on doing it. See what happens. See, you won't bow the knee now, but you will bow the knee then. On that day, every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Okay? So you think you're going to refuse to do it. Yeah, only now you will, but then you won't. But then it's going to be too late. You're going to be kicked out into outer darkness, where the worm dies not, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So when we contemplate our own selves, our own self-consciousness, or the tree outside our window, the sun, the moon, and the stars, at any given moment, we're going to have to decide whether it indicates the eternal or not. So either it indicates the eternal or we decide that it does not. Romans 1 says, ever since the beginning of the creation of the world, God's eternal powers, attributes, have been clearly seen in everything that is made. That means everything indicates and reveals the eternal. But it could only indicate and reveal the eternal if and only if the eternal was an agent, was a supreme being, a creator who purposed that. But when it doesn't, okay, then all you're left with is that it doesn't indicate anything, and therefore nothing means anything, because there's nothing in your model of reality to dictate what is. Okay, it's that simple. Yeah, I think you're in the wrong room. Yeah, she turned off her. She was looking for the pole dancing room.
Does Christianity support polygamy? Or
Does
is the argument from
Christianity's
silence?
does it support polygamy? No. Jesus talked about God made the first man and woman. If God had
okay.
if God had intended polygamy, he would have made Eve and Gretchen, but he didn't. If God was going to create homos, it would have been Adam and Steve, not Adam and Eve.
A lot of people would reference King Solomon and King David and use that as a basis to have multiple wives. What do you think about that?
The existence of God would
Oh,
be
well, then I
parallel
guess they're going to have to
the
agree to
argument
murder too, because
for the laws
David
of logic.
murdered.
For example,
No, there are, the Bible's very clear about men of God's mistakes. They're imperfect people. Okay. That's why we need a savior. But isn't it amazing? We cannot seem to find an intelligent atheist to talk to. All we get are these people who are, bona fide low IQ, low information atheists, or they're just trolls. We can't find any intelligent atheists, But think of all the atheists who were at relatives' houses today during Thanksgiving and somebody offered the prayer. They probably just sat there. Think of all the atheists just sitting there while everyone has their heads bowed and they don't. Thanking
Dawkins, where's your family?
Thanking the great. What's that?
Where's your family? Where's your Thanksgiving?
Why are you asking me about my personal life? Would you like to talk about the topic?
But where's your aren't you going to
are you a troll? Are you a troll or are you here to talk about the topic?
No, just go celebrate Thanksgiving.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so you want to be a troll. And he leaves right away. See, troll. Right? Mm-hmm. Well, we can't seem to find any intelligent atheists, which is not surprising. Okay, even when you get the opportunity to talk with atheists who have PhDs, they respond in the same creepy and sleazy manner. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to start reading a new book written by an atheist. His name is Dr. Leonard Susskind. It's called The Cosmic Landscape. But it's interesting reading it, how many underlying faith-based assumptions that he's operating from, yet he thinks he's a fact-based evidentiary guy. Just by starting the book, it's amazing how many faith-based statements he makes, okay? Not that I'm using the word faith in a bad sense, but I'm using it in the sense that he is holding to beliefs for which he doesn't have evidentiary support for.
Like what?
Like the fact of the Big Bang, like the fact that evolution is true, like the fact that we can understand the origin and development. Yeah, please don't overtalk. So, like the fact that we can use the theory of evolution as a kind of model to explain why, although the universe appears to be designed, it is to be rejected because of a Darwinian mentality. That's the kind of crap that he says in the book. But let me just say this. I happen to be very fond of Leonard Susskind. I think he's a brilliant man, and I think he's absolutely a fascinating individual to listen to and learn from in spite of his dumb atheism. Even he acknowledges that the universe looks designed, okay? But he has to appeal to the myth of a multi or megaverse in order to run from God and the implication of design and creation.
What does it mean, designed? What do you mean by that?
It means that when we look at the newly discovered fundamental parameters down in terms of the initial conditions of the universe and in terms of fundamental parameters that are so astronomically narrow in range, and if they were just to a smaller or higher degree by the most minute amount, there could be no life. And there are dozens of these things that all have to simultaneously coalesce that are just simply independent of each other. So they're going to have to be explained either by just pure randomness, design, or some aspect of necessity. Well, he doesn't want to believe it's by chance. He rejects that. He then also rejects out of hand that this fine tuning, the reason, and he talks about the anthropic principle. The anthropic principle is that there are very narrow parameters that all coalesce, that without which we couldn't be observing the universe right now. So this cries out for an explanation, but he doesn't want to acknowledge God, right? Which he stated in a number of interviews. So their appeal is to, go to myth, and then claim it's science, and it's called the multiverse or the megaverse, as he calls it.
Can the multiverse theory coexist with God?
It could. I don't see why there couldn't be a multi or a megaverse. But the point is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's your best evidence for God?
Well, first of all, why would you need evidence for God, sir? Why are you asking the question?
What do you mean? You need evidence to believe.
I know that. Well,
why would you believe something on no
I'm
evidence?
I'm asking you why. I mean, I'll be glad to answer the question. I'm not dodging you, but I'm wondering why you're asking the question.
What's your single best evidence for God?
I know I heard the question. I'll be glad to address it momentarily, but I just want to know why you're asking the question.
Why would you? Because shouldn't believe anything on no evidence.
Okay. Trust me, I'm not dodging you. And if you feel that I'm dodging any question, just remind me, okay? But before we continue on that, could you repeat your last statement?
Holy fuck, there's a lot of people.
What? What's your best evidence for God?
No. Your last statement was that you only believe things based upon evidence?
Yep.
Okay. What's your
You're not answering my question.
So I'm going to get to it momentarily. I promise you.
Just answer my question. What's your best evidence for God?
What's the best evidence for God? Everything is evidence for God, and it's undeniably and irrefutably so.
All right, that's garbage. It's not a good answer.
Okay, so you're claiming that it can be refuted?
But you didn't give any evidence for God.
I just did. I said everything indicates and reveals God.
Evidence. That's not evidence.
Okay, is that a claim?
I guess.
So Darth Dawkins, I think that I'm not making a point here. I think what he's trying to say.
I know exactly what he's getting at. So Khan, when you say it's not evidence, when you say that, are you making a counterclaim?
I'm saying it's not good enough.
Okay. So you're saying that it's not good enough. No, sir, listen carefully. I don't think you're even self-aware as to the nature of your responses. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've had the opportunity to talk with hundreds and hundreds, if not a couple of thousand unbelievers. And I've learned a lot about how unbelievers think. And most unbelievers truly are not self-aware of the implications of some of the things that they say. Now, either you are going to decide that everything in the world, individually and collectively, is indicative and revelatory of the eternal God, or you will decide not. Okay? Have you decided not?
No, I don't think that's good evidence for God.
No, that was a question as to what your position was. Now, are you okay, right. So what I'm looking for intelligent, mature-minded atheists. Okay, I hope you're one of them.
I am one.
Okay, then I expect better than cheesy 14-year-old responses. Okay, now either you are going to decide that everything in the world, individually and collectively, is indicative and revelatory of the eternal by His purpose, meaning the Creator, or you will decide not. Okay, the law of excluded middle says something is either A or not A. So I take the position that everything does reveal God by His purpose. I take it that you do not hold that position.
Watch this.
No, I don't believe in God.
Magic.
All right, so I am going to throw in like
So-
a neutral stance
Please,
for everybody here.
please wait.
You know what else
Please
is
wait.
magic?
Ambitious.
Well,
So
I think I should speak now.
Okay, so Khan, you do realize that you're making a counterclaim?
Well, maybe it's not good evidence. I'll say that.
No,
It's
Khan.
evidence, but it's not-
Khan, listen
it's not good evidence.
listen to me, Khan.
I
I'm
won't
going
say
to
it's
ask
not
you.
evidence. I'll
I'm
say
going
it's not good
to
evidence.
Khan. I want us to talk to each other, not past each other. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm as serious as a heart attack. If you give me a hard time, I'll remove you from the room and I'll move on to somebody else. Have you been drinking tonight? Have you been drinking tonight?
Being semantic.
Why do you do that? Why do you just like?
Have you been drinking tonight?
No.
Okay. Now, then what you need to stop doing if you're sober, you need to stop being evasive to my questions. Now, you do not accept that everything would you I'm not playing. Look, you told me you're an intelligent atheist. So far you're demonstrating that you're not, okay? Now,
Okay.
when I ask you a question, I expect you to answer it. I expect you to give me responses like you're an adult, not a 14-year-old. Okay. Now, your position is a counterclaim, correct?
I just said it's not good evidence. It is evidence, but it's not
Okay.
good
All right.
evidence.
I'm okay. That's strike 2. Okay. Now, you've said that several times, and I've responded to you that what you are saying to me, it is a counterclaim. Are we clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you have evidence for that?
All right, just move on to somebody else.
So in other words, you can dish it out, but you can't take it. Do you have evidence that all the things that you're acquainted with do not stand in causal relations to God? Do you have evidence for that?
Well, you're shifting the burden of proof to me.
That's an atheist cliche. I already made a case. Okay, I'll be glad to do it over again. Okay, everything in the world, individually and collectively, is indicative and revelatory of the eternal, and it could only be indicative and revelatory of the eternal if the eternal was a supreme being and a creator, and he has made it to be indicative in a way that it is. May I? Okay, you told me you're an intelligent atheist. If you ever talk to me one more time, I won't just server mute you. I will kick you from the room because you're purposely trying to act like an adolescent. I'm making the case. Hold on a second. I am making the case for God so that you can no longer whip out your atheist cliche that I'm shifting the burden of proof. Now, I will start again. Everything in the world, individually and collectively, is indicative and revelatory of the eternal, and it could only be so if the eternal purposed it. And in order for the eternal to purpose it, it would have to be a mind, an eternal mind that we call God. And one of the reasons that it reveals it is due to the impossibility of its denial. Okay. Now, in order for something to be something, there must be something that instantiates its actuality and identity. That's going to have to be grounded in whatever is eternal. Okay. If you deny that anything is eternal, then you have no identifiable grounding as to why anything is. And if you have no identifiable grounding to why anything is, nothing means anything. And consequently, you can't talk about evidence. So because there is evidence for things, this is another compelling reason why God exists. Because in a world without God, there couldn't be evidence because there would be nothing identifiable and defensible that would impose that there is any connectiveness or correlatedness between things other than the figment of your imagination. Now, I have made a brief defense of the existence of God and how the world indicates God. Now, you made a counterclaim, did you not?
Where's your Nobel Prize?
Did you make a counterclaim? If you do not respond to my legitimate questions, you're going to be kicked from the room because you are trolling. Did you make a counterclaim?
Yes, I did.
Okay, now I expect you to follow your own criterion. What is your evidence that all the things in existence cannot and do not stand in causal relations to God? What is your evidence of that?
What's my evidence for that? I said it's not good evidence. I didn't say it wasn't evidence.
That's not an answer to my question. I already made a case for how things are evidence for God. Okay.
I give up.
Well, so in other words, when you demand evidence for God, your criterion is simply a phony excuse because you don't follow that principle, do you?
Right.
And why would somebody not follow that principle? The reason why is because you're a bitter clinger to your would-be autonomy. Because let me finish. What does that have to do with anything? Okay. Well, the issue is not a Nobel Prize. Okay, sir. Well, I've got news for you that most people on the planet believe in God. People who don't believe in God are a minority on this planet. Did you get the memo?
Argumentum ad populum, Darth.
No, sir. I didn't say that God necessarily existed because most people believe in him, did I?
Fucking moron. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so you see, you just got outclassed in the conversation,
the fuck up.
and now you're pissed because you got defeated. You see, that's and he runs away. Okay. An atheist just got squashed like a bug, and he creeped and lingered away. Okay, the floor is open. Now, did I give him any reason to be angry with me?
Finally. Thank you, Darth Dawkins. Jesus.
Well, you kept interrupting, sir.
Darth, I gotta make a point here, though. You gotta let other people speak.
I gotta make a point. This is. I run the room as I see fit, not as you do. I got a point here, sir. I run the room the way I see fit. Okay. Welcome back to my. Yeah. Okay.
Darth, you were finished about your multiverse response. When I asked
refresh my memory.
No, sure. You were talking about some guy that wanted to substitute the multiverse theory instead of God, and I asked you, can the multiverse technically coexist with God? And I forgot what your response was.
Well, I was away from the keyboard. No, the appeal to the multi or megaverse is just simply and a way of acknowledging God as creator. Okay.
The appeal to the megaverse, you said?
I said Leonard Susskind and other astronomers and physicists are appealing to a multiverse due to the problem of the fine-tuning that is apparent in our universe. So they're appealing to the multiverse in order to account for the anthropic principle. Okay, the anthropic principle is that there are dozens and dozens of simultaneously coalescing astronomically narrow parameter states without which collectively coexisting, we wouldn't be here to observe the universe. So it's going to have to be explained either simply by pure chance, design, or necessity. Well, he doesn't want to explain it by simply pure chance. And he doesn't want to acknowledge God because he's an atheist. Because most atheists are consumed, if not all of them, consumed with pride. And because they are bitter clingers to their would-be autonomy and they don't want to acknowledge the autonomy of the eternal God, they're looking to justify their rebellion against God by finding some other explanation. So an appeal to a multiverse is just simply another version of worshiping the creation rather than the creator. That's what's going on.
I mean, either way, in a multiverse, that would just mean that God would necessarily exist. As in one universe, God would exist, and there would exist a God that has control over all multiverses. Therefore, God would exist. So even then, even that escape, it doesn't get you anywhere.
I agree with you, but they think it does.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they do. I just think that it's brain dead. Like to use
wait, God is necessary. What's the argument for that?
No, I'm saying in a multiverse, right? Like using the atheistic logic in a multiverse, saying like even if something is minutely possible, it will happen in a multiverse.
Did you notice how that guy came in? He got server muted and he left right away.
Yeah.
He's been stalking and trolling for years. That's what a piece of human crap that guy is.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, but so to the room, in a multiverse, like using that logic, all you would have to prove is that a God that a being or God that could control all multiverses is possible, and therefore that it would logically conclude in a multiverse. That's using the atheistic logic. I mean, it's using the same logic against them, so it doesn't get you anywhere. It just proves us right.
Are you here to troll some more, Khan?
No.
Why'd you get angry, Khan?
Because you didn't give any evidence for God.
I did. Your claim that I didn't is a counterclaim. Can you defend that counterclaim? You see, Khan, listen to me. When you're dealing with somebody who's probably old enough to be your father and has more knowledge and expertise.
28.
I'm old enough to be your father. I'm 61.
Fucking loser, old man.
Okay. Now, when you're dealing with somebody like me who's twice your age, I've been at this issue far greater than you have, and I have far greater knowledge and practice in debating these issues, spewing out, and I don't mean that to put you down, but invoking atheist cliches isn't going to do you any good, because I'm prepared for atheist cliches, which you easily saw that I was. So that when you speak out, you didn't provide evidence. You're not just making a stipulation of non-acceptance, you're making a counterclaim. Are we clear?
Okay, Boomer!
Wait, one sec. We'll get into specifically what constitutes consistency and what doesn't.
Where's your Nobel Prize?
Are we clear? Well, listen. You're repeating the same foolishness again. If you continue, I'll just permanently server mute you. Now, you made a counterclaim. Now, if your objection to the existence of God is legit, and your counterclaim is legit, you need to explain your counterclaim. Are you prepared to do so?
Why is God hiding?
Okay, there we go. That's one more atheist cliche, so we're done. Let nobody
he's
say
a
that
cliche machine. He's just a machine.
Yeah,
Keeps spitting them out.
He's just a cliche machine. I made it very clear that his response was a counterclaim. Okay. Did he deny that it was a counterclaim? No, he didn't. So when I asked him to unpack and defend his counterclaim, what does he do? He just presses cliche number 2. Okay. This is why I say that we can't find any intelligent atheists to talk to. We get idiots like Khan.
Darth, what about like excuse me. What about like gods like in Norse mythology and whatnot? Like, because there's like a plurality of gods. Why does there need to be just one?
Because you're still dealing with atheism proper, that there is no supreme being who is ultimate, who is creator, controller, and sovereign Lord over everything. So these gods are just simply creatures that are subject to one or more parameters, just like we are, although they are deemed to have greater powers and have control over us and certain aspects of the world. But it's just a soft version of atheism. They're not atheists in the sense that they reject all gods, but they reject the idea that there is a supreme being, creator God. So they're still atheists in that respect.
I think I struck a nerve because you can't show me where information comes from a non-intelligent source. It doesn't happen.
So that means Norse mythology and Greek mythology is fundamentally atheism. That's what you're saying.
In the sense that they are not affirming that there is a singular supreme being who is ultimate and creator.
I see.
Yeah. We would have to restrict the definition in their case to saying that atheism, in the sense that they deny that there's a supreme being, creator who is ultimate overall.
Whatever he was talking about, he said you're a bitch.
Just doing something, yeah, because you know, gossip.
Do you think it's any coincidence that we can't find any intelligent atheist to talk to? Do you think that's a coincidence?
Isn't just being on broadcast?
Yeah, I don't think. I don't think.
Why isn't
You see, where they are held accountable intellectually for what they say, then they scatter like cockroaches when you turn on the light. Okay. Wonder who all the atheists were thanking today. Anybody have an idea?
Hello, is this mic on? Hey, what's
Time to make your dreams come true because Melia's Black Friday is coming.
Well, we're 1 month away from the end of the new year, and next year will be like this one. Same stupid atheist cliches, same stupid atheist platitude.
What are the cliches? Like, are they like just saying toxic things?
They'll say things like, there's no evidence for God. There's no reason to believe in God. Okay. Atheism is just a lack of belief. Atheism is not a claim.
So
Stupid
George,
crap.
How are you gonna drop some news like that and not elaborate?
Literally, right? What a coward.
Because he can't elaborate.
No, he's just an imbecile troll.
And much like most imbecile trolls, they have no evidence for their claims.
It's funny, they'll say, well, there's no evidence for God. And then when you give it to them, they say, no, that's unacceptable. And then when you say, okay, what's your evidence that there's no evidence for God? You're shifting the burden of proof.
Why are you?
I mean, this is how stupid they are.
You're welcome.
I mean, it doesn't get any more stupid
I
than
was
that.
the guy who started calling them the Paltalk Power Rangers. If you
I
want
know.
to punish anybody, punish me.
I know.
If you want to punish anybody, punish me. Don't punish them. They don't know.
No. Why would I want? I love you guys.
Yeah. You love me because you think you can kick my ass. That's why. That's why you love me. You love me because you think you can beat me. God, Liz, I sent you a chess move. Come on.
I moved the knight and you moved the knight and now it's your turn.
Darth, do you think you've lived a good life?
This isn't going to be one of those programs.
Your
where
wife
it's all
left
fucked
you,
up
your
and you
kids
never know
don't
what the
want to
hell's
talk
going
to
on, is
you.
it? 'Cause
You live in your mother's basement. Do you think that your life has been worthwhile, Darth? What are you, 62 right now? You're
How do you
62,
know?
right?
How do you know my wife
And your
left me?
kids don't like you?
I asked you a question.
Well,
I said,
wait,
how
she
do you know
didn't?
my wife left me?
She didn't leave you?
Look, sir, you troll on
Oh, so it's not
Clubhouse.
true that your wife
If
left
you
your
if you
kids don't
overtalk
like
me,
you,
if you
that you
overtalk me
live in
one
your
more
mother's
time,
basement? I mean,
okay.
He wants to overtalk you so you can get out of here and not defend
Now
him.
I asked you not to overtalk me. Okay. Now if you do it again, you're going to be permanently muted. Okay. Now, what I'd like to know from you is obviously you hate me so much that you want to repeat slander and defamation, personal details about me that you and others don't even know. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. So do you have a substantive disagreement with me that you'd like to present?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate you. I just asked you the question, but I do have a substantive disagreement, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well,
So-
you can pause that for a second. You said my wife left me. Okay. How do you know
Yeah,
the
that's right.
details of and how would you know the details of my marital situation?
Well, I thought that was common knowledge.
That's not an answer to my question. You made an accusation that my wife left me. Now, how do you know that that's true?
Maybe he doesn't care if it's true. He just wants to say it.
I'm asking you, you're going to listen.
Alternatively, how do you not know that perhaps he left his wife?
Hold on.
Right?
Okay, please stop. Listen to me carefully. The moment from here on out, you start behaving like an asshole, I'm going to server mute you and then kick you from the room. So as long as you conduct yourself like a mature adult, you're going to remain. Okay. Now, I could have just muted you for trolling, but I didn't. But you see, what I want to do is I want to show everyone in the room what an absolute piece of shit you are. Okay. Now, how do you know that my wife left me? How do you know
you're
that?
protecting yourself image now. Yeah, you have NPD. It's fine.
Still waiting to hear how he knows it.
Okay, I asked. You made an accusation that my wife left me. Do you know what the details of my marital history are? Do you know that there is
that they were
information?
unsuccessful?
Listen carefully, okay? In spite of the rumors and the slanderous remarks and information that people think that they have is correct on me, it's actually incorrect. Okay, it's 100% incorrect. Now,
so you have a good relationship with your kids?
Let me finish.
You have a good relationship with
Okay,
your kids?
listen to me, sir.
Yeah.
Listen carefully.
Don't stutter. Okay? Don't stutter when I ask you a question.
All right.
Do you have a good relationship with your kids?
I asked you not to.
I'm taking that as a no.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is what he does on Clubhouse, and this is what he does here. Okay.
What's Clubhouse?
It's another app thing.
It's a phone app that is similar to Discord.
Oh, is it worth checking out?
Okay. Oh yeah.
It's
By the
less
way,
colorful and fun.
I think it's obvious he does hate you. Why would you do that to someone who you didn't hate? Just use things you've heard to try to slander them.
I have had family members come to me, very close family members, and they will repeat back to me the kind of stuff that this guy's saying. And they say, why are these atheists lying? And I said, well, because they don't care as to whether the veracity of these claims or not. These are just rumors and slanderous statements. And I just
they're
said
trying to
shameless.
hurt you, right? They hate what you have to say apologetically.
Well,
so
they're not because this is what
they
atheists do.
I'm saying. They want to hurt you.
Yeah, this is why Satan is called the slanderer of the brethren. I've never gone into detail with anybody of what my personal information is or my family situation. Okay, I could easily done so, but I can assure you that the information that you're spewing is factually incorrect. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, but you just want to come in here and you just want to spew your slander and defamation. And Altoid, you're just a shameless, vile, disgusting person. And you know what? You're probably getting off to it right now, right? And this is what people like you do. You do this on Clubhouse, and you do this over here. This is why I have your account on Clubhouse blocked, right? As well as many other people.
Cats are pretty damn sexy, man.
No, I don't understand. Like the people that don't like you, Darth. Like I disagree with you on a lot. I do, but like people that come to your troll. Like, why don't you just try to like prove them wrong and like embarrass them? Right? Like, wouldn't that be a lot better for your side if you just proved them wrong? And did rather than just coming here and troll. Because I guarantee you, 90% of people are not laughing.
I can prove Darth wrong pretty easy.
What exactly did this guy say so wrong?
Yeah, like if you're against them, then prove them wrong. Like don't troll. Like it's just a waste of time. It's not even that funny.
What do you see?
That's
Man,
really
I'm actually trying to troll, man. Fuck this conversation. Too serious.
You know, what's even more funny is that a lot of the really angry, edgy, like teens that like, I'm gonna get him, I'll get him, I know how to beat him. Really, like, don't. He knows this. He's actually Darth has been doing this argument or not this particular argument, but developing his argument for like 10 years. So he knows it very well. I don't
who's this fucking
this is like
cheerleader?
But this is like a lesson in being self-aware, though. Like, it's okay to say I don't know or to concede a little bit in an online debate. It's fine. By the way, that's better tactically, and right. You can maybe you're not convincing yourself more that you have all the answers or. You're the smartest guy in the room. Maybe you're not, maybe you are, but chances are you're probably not the smartest guy in the room. So
I mean, it's just,
chill out.
I agree with that. Like it seems as if just a lot of times people try to troll because they want to like make them upset. Like wouldn't like destroying 10 years of work on an argument make them upset? Like if that would be the way to attack him, is to attack the argument, attack what he cares most about, which is the argument. He doesn't give a damn when people troll. Like I don't understand. It's like even on their side, it doesn't. It's even a waste of time for them.
Well,
no, it's a waste of time to argue with him. Right? You can't. Right? Because that's the end.
He's right here, by the way.
That's fine. He can speak up for himself, but that's the root of NPD.
But what you're in,
it's resistant to argumentation. Right? That's it. You can say whatever you want. At the end, he'll just pretend it didn't exist.
What did you? I'm resistant to what?
Oh, argumentation, right? And you only. So you only.
Yeah, you hold on. Okay. You need to improve your mic quality. Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll try to adjust. I got the.
Now you said I was resistant to what?
Well, I'm just you only debate, for example, in rooms in which you have mods, right? Or mods by proxy.
Hey, I guess you're not aware that I go into all different rooms all the time.
Yeah, and they usually heckle you out pretty quickly.
Okay, so you've now contradicted yourself.
Yeah, but you won't. No, and look, and I will.
Did you? Okay, sir, stop, or I'm going to server mute you.
Argues with you,
sir.
I'm going to agree with you.
If you don't stop in the next 5 seconds, you're done. Now, because you're going hyper right now and you're getting all agitated, is a sign that I have you on the ropes. You just contradicted yourself. Do you deny that you contradicted? Okay, listen to me. If you overtalk me one more time, I will kick you from the room. Not because you're disagreeing with me, but because you're out of line. You were just caught in a contradiction. Are you going to admit that?
No. I'll explain why.
Good. Okay. No, you won't. Goodbye.
I mean, to be fair, you did say that he only does debates in the room he's in control of, and then you immediately went back and said that he does do debates in other rooms. Like that's what I'm saying. It's okay to be like, I did contradict myself.
You want to know why?
Instead of like wasting
I show up. I show up in a variety of rooms on a daily basis. Not only in rooms like this where I have mods.
That is false.
Because the trolling's a problem, but I also show up in atheist rooms on this server and another server on a regular basis. I show up in other rooms that are not atheist room where I don't have mods. So these morons who say that I only show up in rooms where I have mods or rooms where I have mods that are going to protect me is simply a lie. It's so tiresome dealing with these idiots. Don't we have any intelligent opposition here instead of people just making crap up?
Hey, Darth, how do you differentiate between someone that has an argument that opposes yours and a troll?
Using my intellect and experience.
Because you seem to be batting 1,000 here. Like 100% of the people who oppose your argument end up being trolls and getting kicked.
That's a false accusation by you. Now, have you written me nasty messages in the past?
Only when you deserve them for being a coward.
Okay, and how am I a coward?
Doing what you always do. Like, that's your MO, Darth. You know exactly how you're a coward.
That's not answering my question.
It was a rhetorical question, Darth. You know exactly how you're a coward.
Yeah. I'm not going to play this little game here where you come in and you do drive-by crap. Either you're going to make substantive remarks and defend it, or I'm going to move on to somebody else. Now, you've accused me in messages calling me a liar and a coward. What have I lied about?
I don't know. When was the message sent? I don't recall the conversation.
Yeah, you're wasting my time, okay? I'm looking for intelligent.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're that busy, Darth. You're fucking munching away on something.
That's because you're personally boring me right now.
Your important sandwich
Mulder, if you want to do your stand-up comedy, this is not the room for you. This is your last warning. If you want to make intelligent disagreement with me, okay, thank you for your time. You were warned, okay?
Can someone have a debate with them or something, please?
But it's pretty.
See, this is all we're left with. People who just come in and make these accusations. Okay.
Please. Wow.
Well, it's I think I'm a little tired, and I can't think of anything that I want to argue with Darth about right now. Otherwise, I'd oblige.
Oh, I just think it's hysterical that this happens on a regular basis. These people won't come in here and debate with me substantively, and then they just simply repeat slanderous and defamatory statements about my personal life, which they know nothing about, nor is it accurate. Okay. They're just repeating the same, they think they know my personal information, which they don't. They think some people even think they're speaking to my family members. They know not what they're talking about. Okay. So.
And here's an interesting observation, Darth. You actually let that guy talk and you entertained him for a little bit. You didn't just immediately mute him for talking about your family the first time, right? So contrary to the meme or what someone would accuse you of, you actually give people a chance to actually rationally interact with you. But if they wear your wick, obviously.
My number one principle when people make slanderous and defamatory statements is simply to confront them that they're simply repeating slanderous and defamatory information, which are lies. It is unfactual. But because I love my family members, okay, I'm not going to cater to their slander and defamation and bring my family members into whatever they want to slander and defame me about. And my family members, some of my family members are like, what is wrong with these people?
Did you hear that one
Okay.
guy, how he practically started begging you in a pathetic fashion to tell him about your family situation? He was like, "Whoa, do you have a good relationship with your children? Do you?" He's like begging you to give him information.
I've even had some family members. Hold on one second. And I've rarely disclosed this, but I have had some family members say to me, these people are just lying about you. And I go, yeah. And they'll say to me, would you like me to make a public statement? And I said, no. I say, why not? I said, because these people are evil. This will do nothing to dissuade them from their slander and defamation. And I don't want my family members to be drawn into a situation publicly on the internet when it has nothing to do with them and it's unfair to them.
Well, yeah, they're
Okay.
not accusing you because they think it's true. So a declaration from one of your family members won't solve the problem. It won't be. They won't say,
Yeah,
"Oh, well, we'll
just
stop
like-
doing it because it's not true." They already
like
don't
an
care.
affidavit or some shit. It'll put it to rest, So they just stop.
No, they won't. I don't know if.
Well, I mean, like if
know.
you got like
They don't care whether it's
documents.
true.
Well, it may stop some rumors, but
Yeah, it'll stop the
okay.
rumors.
And so this is less a sense of justice. Do you really think these
There's
people
no
are motivated by a
rumors
sense of
other than
justice?
these people.
It's not a sense of
Well,
justice that's
a portion
motivating
of them would
a
probably
lot
be
of
like,
that activity.
"Oh, shit,
Most of it,
all
all
these
of it.
things about giving testimony and
Yeah,
and
at
writing
the same
a
time,
document. It would shut up the majority of them. Like, oh,
I can,
okay,
but I
never
can
mind,
respect.
It wasn't a lie.
But one can
Well,
respect.
Terry,
our
hold on a
country.
second.
I mean, it wasn't.
Terry.
A lie. Sorry, I said that wrong.
Well, Terry, do you consider yourself a mature, intelligent adult?
Nobody's perfect.
I didn't ask you that. I said, do you consider yourself a mature adult?
I'm gonna say no because I don't think there is such a thing as an adult.
Okay, so then why are you commenting on this stuff?
What?
No. I'm
Terry.
actually backing you up.
Terry, you're
Oh,
weird,
yeah.
bro.
Well, it did sound that way to me.
Terry,
No,
are you?
okay.
Oh wait, Terry,
This
are
is
you
down.
are you a mature and intelligent?
Good evening,
person?
ladies and gentlemen. I am here to own the Christian retards. I mean the Christian right.
Hello, fat person. Welcome to the
You're
chat
getting
room.
mad at me.
So Terry, are you a mature and intelligent person?
One at a time, please.
Bruh, you ain't a mod. Fuck you.
All right, so Terry, are you a mature and intelligent person?
I'm not here to talk to you.
Wow.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
Get smacked.
Well,
Terry
you
don't
know
wanna get
why?
smacked
You know why? You want to know why? Because Terry's probably afraid that I'm going to reveal the message that he sent to me. Okay.
Terry, did you send some fuck shit to Darth Dawkins?
Do we? Yeah, we don't have to. I never like to air dirty laundry.
What message?
Anyway, we're gonna move on from the idiocy known as Terry. Okay.
Yeah. We'll move forward
Sure.
to the idiocy known as Darth Dawkins.
Associate again. Hi. Could I get the floor for a minute?
I think I care what you fucking tell them. It's a DM. I just forgot about.
Darth, would you like to ask me some questions because I'm trying to sort out where I sit on the religion because I don't think I'm an atheist in the way that you're describing.
I've already explained to you why you are. Do you have a rebuttal?
I think would you spare a few minutes to hear me out?
What I want to hear is you give me a rebuttal where I explain why your agnosticism is simply a covert atheism. Do you recall my critique?
Yes, I do recall it.
Do you have a rebuttal?
Yes, I do.
And give it.
Okay. I do agree there is an overarching creator God. I do. I have
And you,
now.
okay, stop,
I
stop. You told me you were an agnostic.
yes,
Okay?
that was before.
And,
I've been listening, and I had a
so
revelation.
you're no longer an agnostic.
Was a dream world.
Yes.
In which familiar
Okay.
And now what I'm asking is.
So you're now a theist?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, could you hold on a second so I can put another notch on my belt?
Okay.
Wow.
See?
Let's go. We get another one to see the light, guys. Now you just need to like read the gospel and pray to God.
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah, dude. Read the Gospels. That's a good place to start.
Yeah. Religion has been complicated for me. I'm not really sure where to start, and so it's good to.
Or if you're confused, but it's best that you sit back and listen. I'm looking to talk with intelligent unbelievers, but we can't seem to find any.
Yeah.
All people want to do is say is Darth Dawkins, you beat your family members, your wife left you, you passed venereal diseases on. And the funny thing is, people don't even realize that these defamatory statements, they're coming from people like Sidney Winston, a pothead up in Canada, who, when you watch his videos, it's clear he's borderline insane. And the other accusations are coming from Godless Girl, a known super troll and psycho bitch.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried ignoring them, or is it so constant?
Yes. I have attempted to ignore them for almost 12 years, and yet they continue to stalk and to harass. These are people who are reprobates. The reason why they do it is because they do not fear any type of legal or social retribution. Okay, because if they thought there was going to be any legal or social retribution, they would be crying for forgiveness, but they don't. Yeah, they're just look. These are reprobate individuals. Look, this is the internet. Do you know how many problems people have with stalkers? You know.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I don't know if this is a taboo or not.
Well, anybody can create that crap.
Yeah.
Wouldn't pay any attention to it. I just hope they don't show up on my doorstep attempting to harass me, because the National Rifle Association is a great club to be a member of.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of ridiculous that they would go to that extreme, it seems.
They have.
Try pressing it.
Yeah. People get rewarded for making personal attacks all the time. Sucks. So yeah, just don't reward them. So I'm led to believe I am an.
Look, you don't hear that there are theists and Christians stalking and harassing unbelievers. We don't hear about that, do we?
I'm not hearing about it now, but I think it unlikely that it doesn't happen.
So why are you an atheist?
I'll say I'm an atheist. Yeah. I prefer agnostic, but it's fine.
Sir, when you invoke facts, do you positively reference the necessity of God?
No, I don't even.
Good. Then you are a God denier. Okay, because you're invoking facts without the necessity of God, and without the necessity of a God is equivalent with no God needed. No God needed constitutes the denial of God. So as far as you're concerned, your position entails the denial of God. So how is it that God doesn't exist?
I don't really see how the notion of God is an intelligible or meaningful one.
This is the loser's way out. When you know you can't defend your atheism, you have to play the atheism or theological non-cognitivist game. Okay. God is defined as the supreme being, the creator of all things that are not himself. He's what is ultimate, what is eternal, that is the source of all temporality or contingency, and is a mind. There's nothing unintelligible about that. Okay? Now, so we can stop with this little game of atheism. So, God does not exist because
it has no explanatory value.
That is just I'm just dumbfounded as to what to say. That is just absolutely moronic. Okay, if I say that a certain phenomenon it has its origin in a mind that does have explanatory power, whether or not you agree it's actual. So, does the ground of all being, not a mind, have no explanatory power also?
Well, it doesn't erect an impediment to understanding things.
Can you please focus instead of sounding stupid like every atheist do? You just open your mouth and sounds come out and there's little to no substance. Is saying that there's something ultimate that isn't constitutive of the rational, that what is ultimate is not a mind, does that have explanatory power, sir?
I don't think so. I don't think that it.
Guess what? Do you realize what just happened? You probably don't. You have no idea what just happened.
Interested in what you think.
Do you? Okay. I just gave you a true dichotomy as to the nature of reality. Okay. It's either going to be in what is ultimate that is a mind, or what is ultimate that's not a mind. Okay, which is a true dichotomy. So now what you have refused either option, either A or not A. What is ultimate is not a mind, or what is ultimate is a mind. You said both of them have no explanatory power. Now, I'm giving you a very powerful hint here as to what you just stepped into. Do you realize what you just did now, what situation you're in?
The situation of not being prematurely committed to either side?
No, sir. You raise the specter of explanatory power as something that is highly to be prized and valued. But you see, when you reject either what is ultimate as a mind or not a mind, then you no longer have a realm that you can appeal to that has any explanatory power whatsoever. So you raise the specter of explanatory power, and it backfired on you. You just stepped on a landmine and you blew yourself to bits, and you didn't even realize it. Now that I've explained it to you, do you realize what you just did to yourself?
No, I do realize.
Did you not raise the specter of explanatory power?
Yes.
When you reject the notion that anything is ultimate, dictating all temporal or contingent states, that it is neither a ultimate that is a mind, nor an ultimate that is not a mind, and you have nothing to appeal to that provides for explanatory power for anything. Do you realize that's the situation you are necessarily in? Lobby, mute your microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, 1 second. I need to turn down the sensitivity.
You just fucking microphone, nigger.
Do you realize you have now fallen into the abyss where there's no explanatory power for anything?
No, and I don't believe that.
Okay, but you see, you have no outer context to appeal to for explanatory power. You neither have an ultimate that is a mind, nor is there an ultimate that is not a mind, so that whatever you assert ultimately derives from I don't know. You have no foundational explanatory power for anything. Now, I've explained this to you 3 times.
So the reference to the ultimate.
You're ignoring what I'm saying. You're ignoring what I'm saying to you. You raised the specter of the primacy of explanatory power. Do you recall?
Yeah. Yes, certainly.
Okay. So, do you believe that there are temporal and contingent states?
I believe so.
Okay. Now, those states can neither be invoked in terms of the context of deriving and depending upon what is ultimate that is a mind, nor an ultimate that is not a mind. Therefore, there is no ultimate starting point and contemporary reference point to provide explanatory power as to why anything is. Now, this is the 4th time I've explained it to you. Do you realize what you did to yourself?
No.
Okay, you don't have any explanatory power for anything now.
That's not true.
Okay, what is it that is ultimate that provides for the explanatory power for any temporal or contingent states?
You seem to think that I need to be able to explain the ultimate in order to have any capacity for explanatory power.
Sir, do you have something that is ultimate from which all things derive and depend, or do all temporal states have no final explanation for why anything is?
I have a natural interpretation that
that's a non-informative response.
Okay, I'll try to make it informative.
Is there something that is singularly and concretely the source and basis of why anything is?
An ordered universe, causation itself?
No, sir. Causation is a relationship between the succession of events. I asked you, is there, and you'll notice that I'm using my words with great precision. Is there a singular concrete thing that then institutes all instances of what is, can be, and cannot be? The causal principle would be an abstraction, sir. An abstraction like that would not be a concrete singularity. Is there something that is singular and concrete as opposed to an abstraction that institutes and secure all instances of what is, can be, and cannot be? Do you have an answer to that question? Are you still there? Did you?
I think I hit the wrong button. I apologize. I would say the universe.
Okay, now this is the typical go-to answer when you don't know what to say. Is the universe the set of all real things?
I believe it so.
Okay, so when I ask you what dictates all instances of what is, can be, and cannot be, I'm asking you what dictates everything. Okay, are we clear on that?
I think so.
Okay, so when I ask you what dictates everything, your answer is everything dictates everything. How is that informative? Is everything ultimate, sir?
It seems like it.
Okay, is everything that is ultimate not a mind?
I don't think that's clear. It encompasses.
I asked you everything down to its most discrete levels. Is everything down to its most discrete levels collectively a mind or not a mind?
You could say it's a mind that, yeah, it contains a mind.
I'm talking about what it is that is most fundamental. Is it a mind?
I'm not prepared to say yes.
So you have no explanatory power then, do you?
I believe that's not right.
What is it that explains why everything is? Well, your answer is everything dictates everything. How does that provide explanatory power to say everything dictates everything? How is that even informative?
Well, it's, I guess, tautological, but it's not disinformative.
How is it informative, sir? What does it even mean to say everything dictates everything? What does that mean? What is the explanatory power in saying everything dictates everything? Does that have explanatory power, sir?
No.
Good, you've screwed yourself. Do you realize that?
No, but
sir, when I talked about God, you said you rejected God because it doesn't have any explanatory power. Isn't that your standard?
Yes.
Good. When you say everything dictates everything, does that have explanatory power?
No.
Good. You've now screwed yourself. I've explained it to you again. Do you understand what you just did to yourself?
I understand that putting forth the notion of explanatory power as of prime concern, that in the discussion we've had, you have correctly indicated that everything dictates everything really does not have explanatory power.
So when you reject God, who is and who has revealed himself, because you claim it doesn't have explanatory power, you're relying and asserting what has no explanatory power. Aren't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you destroyed yourself. Do you remember at the get-go I told you, do you realize what you just did to yourself? Now do you realize what you just did?
Yeah, I can tell that's a favorite phrase.
Yeah, can you tell that it's an accurate descriptor of your position that you did yourself in?
Well, that's an internal critique. Let's hear how God doesn't have explanatory power.
Yeah. Yeah, to say that God does not have explanatory power is simply childish. It's ridiculous. God is defined as what is eternal, without beginning, a necessary being, and among whose characteristics possesses a mind versus not a mind. Okay, that has explanatory power. You don't have to say that it exists. Now, how is it that God doesn't exist, sir? I'm still waiting for you to answer that question, because you are an atheist. When you say, well, it doesn't have explanatory power, it doesn't follow from that God doesn't exist. But your position is that God doesn't exist. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Good. Explain to me why God doesn't exist.
So, notions of God, while not explaining.
I'm starting to fall asleep here.
Okay. Well,
God doesn't exist because
Can't prove it.
It's hard to not expect unreasonable things based on the notion that God does exist.
What does that even mean, what you just said?
There's something worse than not having explanatory.
I'm waiting for you to explain to me why God doesn't exist. You're an atheist. That's what's in your profile. Atheism is the position there are no gods. Okay, please explain to me why God doesn't exist.
Well, it's mentioned by numerous different myths that are mutually exclusive. Nevertheless, despite the fact that all those gods exist in their respective works of fiction, do any of them explain the natural world?
You're not addressing the question. You're just rambling. Okay, I'd like you to tell me why God doesn't exist.
Because we're not all going to hell.
And how do you know that? How do you know that?
That's a non sequitur.
Yeah, sir, this is embarrassing. And this is why I say we can't find any intelligent atheists to talk to.
How can you prove that God exists?
How do I prove that God exists? By appealing to how he has created this world to indicate that he exists. I appeal to his self-disclosure and his own revelation, without which
How did he
I
create
couldn't
this
establish
world?
it. Hold on a second. We're going to get that. How did he create it? By speaking it into existence. That's how he did it. Now, are you going to, shall I move on to somebody else, sir? Or are you going to tell me why God doesn't exist?
I like how no one even wants to.
If you're talking to me or him.
I'm talking to the guy 3 Meta.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, you're not allowed to impersonate me on this server, which you can get expelled from the server for doing
yeah,
so.
it's a different. No, that's my username. That's my username. That's
okay. All right. Well, good. Yeah, good. Then you're going to get expelled.
Darth, could I get the floor again?
Give me a second here while I send his username to the founder so he can be kicked from the server.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah, it does no good that you add parody. You're not permitted to impersonate my name.
What if you added 2 W's instead of 1?
What if you put a space at the end?
What about I'm about to kick you out of the room and I should have kicked you out without even further warning, teenage moron. Change your name now or I'm kicking you out. Okay?
So wait, how did you prove that God created this world?
I proved it by an appeal to his revelatory actions, which is the creation.
Yeah, but how do you know he created it? Other than, let's say, like Big Bang.
Well, first of all, I don't accept the Big Bang. Do you?
I can't definitively say if it it's a theory, right?
Yeah, okay. So I
God, right?
I explained to you that we can know God exists if and only if God takes the initiative to construct this world in such a way as to reveal and disclose his existence. God has disclosed his existence through, server muted. Okay, God has disclosed his existence through every individual and collective thing. Everything that we deem as temporal and contingent is indicative and revelatory of the eternal and by its purpose. And it could only be by its purpose if it was a mind, and that the denial thereof, of what I have just laid out, is impossible. So in order for things to be actual and intelligible, to possess identity, and from that identity derive intelligibility, it would have to be indicative and revelatory of the eternal, and that the eternal would be a mind by its purpose. What I have just laid out for you is undeniable and irrefutable. If you do not accept what I say, you're either going to have to keep quiet or you're going to have to give me a rebuttal. You're going to have to defend a counterclaim. Can you do that?
I hear a lot of words, but I mean, that's not definitive proof that he created the world.
Johnny, you've just made a counterclaim that the world does not reveal God. Are you prepared to defend that?
You asserting it's not proof doesn't make your assertion true.
Yeah, you made a counterclaim. Do you realize that, Johnny?
I know.
Good. Are you prepared to defend your counterclaim?
Oh, I'd rather not. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah. You just tripped and had a concrete facial. Right? You see, that's what I told you. That's what I told. Please wait while I'm talking. Okay, when I give you the revelation of God, that's why the Bible says, ever since the beginning of the creation of the world, God's eternal powers, his eternalness, have been clearly seen through everything that has been made, so that men are without a defense. You just proved Romans 1 correct. You are without a defense when you reject God's revelation of himself through creation, Johnny. That's why you have shut your mouth.
Well, not everyone's standard is the Bible, so.
Sir, you're not understanding. That's just a throwaway, meaningless phrase. You no longer have a defense. You object that the world reveals God, but you don't have a defense for that. And in fact, you insisted that I give an account that God exists, but you will not follow your own standard, Johnny. I will repeat that again. Johnny, you are not following your own standard, are you? And I expect an answer to that. Are you following your own standard?
Well, my standard is that I cannot definitively say that there is a God or not.
Johnny, you are being a dishonest little scumbag. I'm going to call you out. You have a standard that the existence of God be demonstrable, but you are not providing demonstrability for your counterclaim. Okay? Have you violated your own criterion, Johnny? Yes or no?
I'd rather not get into it. It's pretty late.
You're a little lying scumbag. I'd rather not. Yeah, the answer is I'd rather not get to it. Is yes, I have violated my own standard. The very demand that you make for God, you refuse to uphold for your position because you don't want there to be a God. You know there's a God. You know that when you die, you're going to stand before Jesus Christ. And on that day, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. But because you don't want to acknowledge that, you want to go on your merry way, you want to pretend, oh, there's no evidence for God, there's no evidence for God, there's no evidence for God. And then when I ask you to defend that according to your own standard, you go, oh, I'd rather not discuss that right now. You see, so the next time, you whip out your standard, be prepared when it boomerangs to hit you in the face. Okay?
Oh, the standard's not that big, Darth. It's kind of small.
Well, maybe he thinks it's big.
False.
You see, atheists do not follow their own criterion.
Do you hear this guy just waiting to shout out false over nothing?
Yeah, that's because we're dealing with atheists that lack intelligence. I lack belief that atheists have intelligence because I can't find any intelligent atheists to talk to.
I think you're just a dishonest debater.
How am I dishonest?
Because you just say a bunch of seemingly intellectual words and use specific language that just is really meaningless.
That was not informative. That was just a ethereal, non-substantive response. How have I lied? How have I said anything that's false? I need specifics, Elvis.
I don't care enough to.
So another false accuser. Another false accuser. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building. He comes in here, he whips out his schlong, he tries to pass, he can't get a squirt out. Yeah, another
false again.
I know. Yeah, don't you love these atheists? They come in the room, they unzip their pants.
Who said I was
they
atheist?
expose themselves.
Who said I was
then why would you object to what I'm saying?
I am a red-blooded Christian American, sir.
Oh, good. Then explain to me what I said is false.
Pretty much everything.
Good. When did you become a Christian?
The day I was born. I was baptized.
Oh, the day I was born. This guy comes in here and he tells me I'm a liar. And he says he became a Christian when he was born.
Yeah, I was born, raised, baptized.
That's not what the Bible says. In order to become a Christian, you have to have a conscious repentance and faith in Christ. Did you have a conscious repentance and faith in Christ the moment you were born?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to call me a liar? See you later, scumbag. You see what lying? See, we got these lying scumbags. They go, Darth Dawkins, you're a liar. And then the guy lies. Oh, I've been a Christian since I was born.
Come on, guys. It's Thanksgiving.
Can't we find any intelligent atheist? Why do we have to have the bottom of the barrel, people who are on the bottom bunk in the group home? Why can't we find any intelligent atheists?
I mean, was there a priest with a baptismal there right next to his mom in the hospital on the bed or something?
Yeah. And the guy comes in and he says, the guy comes in and he lies about being a Christian. And then he calls me a liar. And we get one idiot after the next. One idiot again and again. Are there not any intelligent atheists or people who want to challenge the Christian worldview? Do they exist?
Can I make a request that you not mute that guy who keeps randomly shouting out false unless he becomes unruly? I just think it's really humorous to just have him hiding in the shadows, shouting false every now and then.
No.
Comedic element.
I know you find it comedic, but I find it annoying. Okay.
Can I show you evidence of aliens?
Well, I do think I used to doubt aliens, but then I changed my mind after seeing the mayor of Chicago on the news.
I'm gonna send you alien proof right now.
Yeah, you're roboting. You're roboting. Not only that, you have an unpronounceable name, dum dum.
Or I'm just the smartest scientist guy you'll ever talk to.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Have you ever heard of the number 58?
Yeah, sir, don't waste my time. I have no patience for stupidity.
I'm not wasting your time. I actually know a lot of valuable information that you don't know about. So why do you think you know our valuable information over someone you've never talked to?
Hey, Darth, have you ever heard of the number 17?
No, but I just heard the number 58. Well, I'm still waiting. Where are the intelligent unbelievers? Where are you? Do you want to challenge the identity claims of Jesus Christ, whom you all know you are going to face when you die? Every single one of you know this, but you don't want to surrender. But guess what? You're going to surrender then anyway. So you better get it over with and be on his right side. But you don't want to do that, do you? Okay, you'll learn the hard way, folks. That's why we can't find any intelligent atheists. Do you know that a number of the PhD atheists that I had the opportunity, or I should say the displeasure of talking to, some of them even outright lied in an AMA that they were atheists? I mean, it doesn't get any funnier than this.
Is there any recordings of those, Darth?
Yes, almost all of them are recorded, but you have to go to YouTube and look them up. Darth Dawkins versus P.Z. Myers, Darth Dawkins versus Lawrence Krauss, Darth Dawkins versus Graham Oppie, Darth Dawkins versus Philippe Leon, Darth Dawkins versus Jay Garfield, Darth Dawkins versus who know, and there's a few more names I can't remember off the top of my head.
Godless Girl and T-Jump have videos on Darth.
Tom Rabbit has them as well.
Do you get paid for this, for like talking to the people, or is it just for like recreational?
No, I get a great sense of satisfaction of showing them that they cannot deny Jesus Christ and that they need to repent. They think they're really smart, but I show them Jesus Christ is smarter than they are.
Question piggybacking off that. Are you trying to convert atheists and agnostics into Christianity, or are you just trying to show them agnostics and atheists are the same?
I'm trying to get anyone who hasn't bowed the knee to Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior to do so, because you are facing the wrath of God. You are one heartbeat away from eternal damnation. It just so happens that my most vigorous opponents are the atheists and the agnostics, maybe some of the Muslims. But I also debate and confront the people that are in the cults, like Catholicism or Eastern Orthodoxy. But they too don't believe in the one true God. They believe in the false god of their cult. Listen, I'm not coming up with my own truth. I am just simply recapitulating what the Bible says. And this makes people very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. So much so that they will spend an enormous amount of time stalking, harassing me, slandering, defaming me. It's amazing.
Would you say that they're overwhelmed with meeting you? Some of them?
No, I think when you do apologetics biblically and assertively and aggressively, it produces a deep conviction of sin, and yet they hate God and they don't want to repent. And so that's why they hate the messenger. Not that I'm perfect. Not that I'm perfect. I mean, I can always use improvement.
What about the people who believe in all gods? Christianity, why?
What?
What about the people who believe like in the Christian God and Allah and other religion God?
Well, when people ask questions like that, it usually is almost always an indicator that you're uninformed about these other worldviews. These are just non-defensible worldview body doubles. Okay.
I was born yesterday.
Yeah, none of these other worldviews have the attributes set in order to be God, not even the God of Islam. I mean, the God of Islam is so easily a fabrication of Muhammad's mind in the 7th century. It's laughable. The fact that so many millions of Muslims follow it, it blows my mind. It's so obvious what a concoction it is. If you read the Bible versus the Quran, they don't even read alike. I mean, they're completely different. The Quran reads like just somebody rambling off the top of his head. The God of Islam is not perfect. He doesn't have all great making properties. The God of the Bible does. That's why the God of the Bible has made it very clear to people who do come into contact not only with his natural revelation, but his special revelation, the Bible, that once you take the Bible seriously and you read through it, God has made it abundantly clear he's the only possible candidate to be the one true God. But there are people who read this and they don't want God to be God, so they just concoct a world of make-believe for themselves in order why they don't have to believe.
What are some properties of the Islamic God that you think are illogical?
Well, it's not so much that he's illogical, it's that he can't be God. He's not always truth revealing. In order for there to secure human reason intelligibility, God has to be always truth revealing. The Islamic God is not. Okay. Another thing is he's not perfect. He cannot love in eternity past. Okay. He cannot be fully personal. There's no one to actualize relationality with. There's no plan of salvation or redemption in Islam, right? I mean, I could go on and on and on. Allah is not a perfectly just God because he lets people who have committed evil off the hook simply because they have become dutiful Muslims. When you compare the God of Islam to the God of Christianity, Islam is a joke. This is why the Muslims have to go, oh, the Christians, they corrupted the Bible. They corrupted it. Oh, so your God allowed his previous revelation to be corrupted, to be obliterated by corruption? Yeah, everyone who doesn't want to accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, so many times they go, what about the God of Islam? What about him? He's a figment of Muhammad's imagination. Muhammad, at least a minimum of 3 times in Surah 4 and 5, attempts to condemn the Christian doctrine of the Trinity, but he thought the Trinity was Allah, Jesus, and Mary. This is how dumb Muhammad was. And then when you show this to Muslims, they go, oh, no, that's not wrong. It's not talking about the Trinity, when you can clearly see that it is, right?
It just sounds like he's uneducated.
Who's uneducated?
Muhammad, if he writes something like that.
Well, he was uneducated and he was illiterate, and he only knew of Christianity and Judaism by word of mouth. He actually said that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was the sister of Aaron, the brother of Moses. He confused Miriam, the sister of Aaron and the sister of Moses, the daughter of Imran, with Mary, the mother of Jesus. That's right. Well, I'm still waiting. Do we have any intelligent atheists to talk to? Any people who want to oppose the identity claims of Jesus Christ? This is just making it too easy. Okay. You know, I'm not defending myself. I'm defending the identity claims of Jesus. But this is just getting too easy because all we get are these idiot little trolls. Where are all the intelligent naysayers? Where are they? Okay. And they go, oh, you mute them. No. You want equal time? I'll give it to you. Tell me what it is. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Every time you want to speak, just tell me to set the timer and you'll get uninterrupted time.
May I ask you another question, Darth?
You just did.
Three, four questions. I don't know.
Just shoot.
Yeah. How long have you been learning about this and spreading the word? And when did you convert?
I've been a Christian for 40 years, and for most of my Christian life, I was unacquainted with biblical presuppositional apologetics. But I guess I've always been at heart a biblical presuppositionalist, although I wish I had learned early on that the evidential and classical types of approaches aren't formulated quite correctly because they tend to cater to unbelievers. But in the last number of years, last 4 or 5 years, I've come under the understanding that biblical presuppositionalism, which is biblical, is just simply taking God at his word and not sacrificing our faithfulness to God on the altar of neutrality because it doesn't exist. And to confront people that either God is the final authority or man is the final authority, but man can't be the final authority. So they just shoot themselves in their foot when they try to challenge God. I mean, I make a positive case for God according to the way God has revealed it, and they'll just sit there back and go, no, you haven't proven it. So, well, you're making a counterclaim, defend that. And they go, oh, you're shifting the burden of proof. So, no, I'm not. I just made the case for God. Now it's your turn. And then they just engage in evasion and deception and obfuscation and prevarication. I mean, they do this to such an extent. We joke that they reach into their American Atheist canvas tote bag and pull out one of 107 strategies of obfuscation or misdirection. This is what they do. They heckle, they troll, they lie, they dodge, they evade.
Darth Dawkins, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, same as last year.
Oh, what did you have?
I'm not getting into it. Do you have something else you want to ask that pertains to the topic?
Oh, I was just trying to be nice. I wasn't trying to be trolling or anything. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. I just get a lot of trolls, my friend.
Oh.
You may have answered this, but do you think that your approach is a little controversial, Darth?
Yes.
Yes, that you think that it's controversial?
I come not to bring peace, but to bring the sword.
There we go.
Okay.
Annie Oakley strikes again. Look, Jesus was controversial. The prophets in the Old Testament were controversial. The apostles were controversial. Why do you think all the apostles were murdered except for John? Why? Why do you think they killed Jesus? Because he was controversial. Why do you think they killed the prophets? Why do you think Jesus said, Jerusalem, O Jerusalem, thou that kills the prophets? Because we're confronting individuals with their sinfulness and their rebellion against God, and they don't want to repent. That's what the problem is. You see, when you do apologetics the right way, if you're not upsetting a lot of people, then you're not doing it the right way. Biblical apologetics should cause a reaction to people. That's correct. That is correct. Our goal is not to upset people, but when you are doing it the right way, you're going to upset a lot of people because they are in rebellion against God and they don't want to be made self-conscious, that is, of their rebellion. They want to pretend like they're innocent bystanders, and we just haven't done a good enough job to convince them. But when you do biblical apologetics the biblical way, the right way, it actually produces a deep sense of conviction. What we're showing unbelievers after we clearly convey how God has revealed himself, that the moment they open up their mouth here on out, they got nothing. That's why Romans 1 says they are without a defense. They are without an excuse. We present the revelation of God. Ever since the beginning of the creation of the world, God's eternal powers have been clearly seen in everything that has been made, so that men are without a defense. They have no defense when they do not accept the revelation of God. And the revelation of God is creation. Everything in creation, individually and collectively, indicates and reveals God by his purpose. It reveals the eternal. And the eternal could only reveal itself if it was a mind. You see, once the idea of God as supreme being and creator enters into your head, you can never eradicate it. You can never get rid of it. But what you can do, because of the sinful disposition, is to suppress that idea on a daily basis and just say stupid crap like, there's no evidence for God. There's no evidence for God. No, sir. There's no evidence for God. Would anyone in here like to defend the atheist cliche, there's no evidence for God? Anyone? I'll give you uninterrupted time. Just tell me how much time you want on the timer. Anyone want to defend there's no evidence for God? We got 38 other people in here. See? Dead silence.
Can I make an argument based on how I felt at the beginning of the day when I was an atheist?
Why, you've changed your mind?
No. I'm saying, can I give a demonstration of how I felt at the beginning of the day when I was an atheist? So
sure,
currently I'm not. Okay. I think how people feel when they enter this VC is they feel like they do need to hold on to their individuality. As you said, I agree with you on that. You think that people...
I don't call it individuality. I call it they want to cling to their rebellion.
Mm-hmm. And you're like a authority figure forcing them to go down this path. And that forces them to rebel. So I see why you call it that now.
Do you know what I'm doing? What I'm doing is I'm applying their own standard to themselves, and they don't like it.
Well, it doesn't force them to rebel.
I'm applying their own criterion that they use to dismiss God to give an account of their not Godism. And then they refuse every single one of them, without exception, refuses to follow their own criterion, the same criterion that they use to dismiss God. And this exposes them that they're in sinful rebellion against God. Their objection to God is just a stack of cliches. They don't follow their own rule. You see, this is why when the room fills up and I insist, any atheist step forward, I will give you equal time. Whatever amount of time you want, uninterrupted, I will set my timer and I will sit here silent. And that will be for every time you want to speak. But they don't take me up on the offer. Okay? Why do you think that is? Because they're cowards.
Jim, please.
Do you know how many times I've called into atheist YouTube streams and I attempt to converse with them and they just abuse the mute button? Once you start asking them the right questions, they try to rabbit trail their way out of it.
Hello, everybody. If you're on the 3D cart,
Probably dozens.
I can't tell you how many times I've called into these shows and I'll say, can you please explain to me why there is no God? And what happens shortly thereafter is they do the same old atheist shtick that they always do. And they go, well, you're the one making the claim. We're just not accepting it. So you need to prove you're God. I mean, this is what little children were dealing with. Say, wait a minute. I thought this was a call-in show. I thought you were going to take questions. You're atheist, right? Can you tell me why you're an atheist? Why you don't believe in God?
Warren, did you convert because of the precept apologetic?
I don't know what those words mean in that order. I'm a little bit of a layman. I don't really know most of these words that y'all are flinging around. Can you reword that?
Yeah. Did you come to the truth of the Christian worldview through listening to apologetics such as the presuppositional argument as Darth is laying out?
Yes, I believe. I came to the realization that my view of a creator didn't I'm trying to think. I thought Darth was pushing for something else. So I didn't agree with him initially.
I'm not arguing for a generic God.
Yes, that's what I thought you. Yeah, that's what I.
There is no other God worthy of belief. Only the Christian God can be God.
Then I disagree with you on that, but not in I don't want to debate with you about it. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, of course. Well, what's a possibility?
Okay. I don't want to have like a debate with you about it.
Well,
I don't want to get.
Of course, that's a possibility. But you have no other God that you can instantiate. The Christian God is the only God that can be instantiated.
I have no standing ground in this debate. Yep.
Right. So then your position is more or less a de facto atheism.
Yep. I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Womp womp.
But you see, I go into other rooms, of which people claim I don't, but I do go into other rooms, including unbelievers, and some. Recently, there's been a little bit better moderation, but over the years, they're just a bunch of screaming hyenas, screaming, yelling, interrupting, being evasive, being deceptive. Okay. I'll ask them to fulfill their criterion of belief that they use to dismiss God for their worldview, and without exception, they refuse to do so.
Yep.
You see, if any believer, any Christian employs a biblical presuppositional apologetic and you stay focused, they will hate you too.
It's not just that they refuse to do so, that they just can't do it. They couldn't.
Well, that too.
I believe you.
Darth, have you spoken with Eli since he had his run-in with the little cavalcade of sophists?
I haven't talked with him personally in a while. In fact, Eli just messaged me yesterday, but I haven't talked with him when he ran in with the sophist. But you see, Eli is somebody who's very. Yeah, go ahead.
I would love to hear his thoughts on that, because that's the same thing that we've been discussing recently. Is
they gave him they give him the hostile treatment too. Okay.
No, I mean the lines of reasoning they were offering.
Well, they also got hostile too.
Yeah, they started to. Yeah, they started
I
getting.
think it's funny is and you pointed out correctly that when they make the accusation that this is circular reasoning, so with what they're just saying is God can't reveal himself. So God cannot speak authoritatively, but if God can't speak authoritatively, then how can they?
Would you ever do a full review of that exchange?
Yeah, you should do that as one of your reviews, Darth.
And I was just switching my headset, so I missed what was being said.
No, I was just asking if you would ever do a full review of that video.
All right.
Eli versus the atheist thug crew.
Well, they hate him too, But Eli is a whole lot more nicer than I am.
Yeah, well, they know that if they start getting nasty with him, like in the slightest, he'll probably just leave.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the typical reprobate atheist, so we shouldn't be surprised. And that group of people that we're talking about, most of you in here probably don't know. It's an atheist cult on Discord and Clubhouse. When you listen to them talk about their private lives, with rare exceptions, they all disclose from time to time how they're into perverted things. So surprise, they're also atheists. What a coincidence.
Did you hear? I don't know who was asking it, but somebody asked if you would consider doing a review of that video when you start up your review.
Oh, that would be. I'm going to be probably busy in the next couple of days, but I would definitely want to start doing some reviews of videos because you and a number of other people have really liked it when we do reviews.
Oh, I think the atheists love
videos.
It too,
Oh, of course. The atheists say they love me, but they can't stand listening. Look at how many views that Tom Rabbit gets from all the atheists. If they hate me so much, why do they keep on listening?
I think
Right?
if you ever review that video, you should make sure that you record it, or the supreme leader should be there for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like we did a review where we were just laughing our rear ends off at Matt Dillabloviator doing his rant on mommy and daddy sending him a birthday card with Bible verses on it. We did one review of Ron Reagan Jr.
That was the best.
Did you hear what happened with that Matt Dillahunty?
What are you referring to?
There was like a meltdown in the Atheist Foundation, and he was asked to leave. Basically, they said you're not welcome here anymore.
Yeah.
It's because Otangelo doxed his boyfriend.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Stop lying.
I'm not trying.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. I will prove to you that it is lie. Okay.
I didn't mean dox. I misspoke. I meant he posted a picture of his boyfriend pre transition, and then
right. Where did the picture come from, sir?
I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm saying that Matt got bent out of shape by the fact that he's dating a man. And
Matt's like, "What's that?"
When it was pointed out to him, he got mad, and then the ACA didn't react the way that he wanted them to, and then the ACA did react the way he wanted them to, just too late for Matt Dillahunty's satisfaction, so he left.
It's too bad. It's too bad that Otangelo, Chaos, please mute your microphone. It's too bad that Otangelo. Excuse me, I have hiccups. It's too bad that Otangelo didn't post the picture of Matt Dillabloviator's homosexual transvestite boyfriend with his pants off, grabbing his genitals so they couldn't be seen, spreading his cheeks as wide as could be.
Oh, wow.
So you could see where the sun don't shine. And by the way, I'm not making that up. You can still find that on his his transvestite boyfriend's Twitter page. This is the kind of stuff, and they want to bitch and whine.
I'm trying to eat leftovers. I'm trying to eat leftovers right now, Darth. Please.
Excuse me, Barth. I apologize. I hope that will not ruin our friendship.
What was the way Matt wanted them to react? Someone was saying.
He wanted them to make a statement on his own on Truth Wanted, I think, and then it was on his own show. It was something about the show in which the ACA was going to air a public, disclaimer or apology or something. He wanted it on a particular show, and then they didn't want to do it at all.
What do they need to apologize for, though? Oh, because they had Otangelo on as a caller or something?
Yeah, they didn't even do anything. So, why are they apologizing? It makes no sense.
Oh, is he mad that they had Otangelo on as a
Well,
caller?
let's just put it this way. Let's put it this way. Matt Dillabloviator crying and leaving because of Otangelo. Well, let's just put it this way. And Otangelo and my friends. Otangelo, I'm just going to say this. Otangelo gets far too much credit.
Could someone DM me a video of what's been spoken about?
Well, Matt's moved on to greener pastures because he just had that debate with Destiny.
Did you see how Destiny's legs were Did you see how his legs were dangling from the chair?
I heard what he had to say was like dangling from his mouth. Anyway, you should.
I started watching a few minutes of it, and I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I can't stand. I just had to turn it off. It was just so stupid.
I know.
Here, Matt Dillabloviator thinks this world is a cosmic accident. Okay,
Well, I
and
just
there's
think it's great insight watching two atheists just like verbalize arbitrariness at each other. It's just incredible.
It's like two hens cackling at each other, in a hen house.
And neither of them dares to ask the other one what the basis of their assertions is, because otherwise
Why would
back
they?
on them too.
Yep.
Well, it's the not God world. That's the basis.
Where do you get your values from, guys?
But the not God world is just simply a realm of incoherence.
Oh no, because reality is reality. Didn't you know that? Please.
Hold on a second. Have you been taking that online, or mail order course from You Fake It Till You Make It, T-Jump? Reality is reality.
T-Jump's epistemology course.
Yep.
It's $20, and you have to sit in a clamshell couch while you do it.
His couch is the best thing about him, though. Gotta say, for real.
TJ, the puffy couch.
I want a couch like that.
Hey,
I mean, it's
Darth
probably full of
Dawkins.
dog hair or whatever he owns, but still.
Hey,
Did you hear about his? Did you hear about his second book? Fake It Till You Make It. T-Jump is writing a second book. It's called.
T-Jump's a beta male.
Actually,
would you please? Would you stop over talking, please? Okay, let me finish.
He is actually writing a second book, and it's
the second book is called
on ontology, and it's how his ontology works with any epistemology.
No, it's how I wrote a book on epistemology and realized my epistemology can work in any ontology. Yeah. How does that epistemology work in a world where there are no electrons? How does that work? This is a guy who came into my room, to get attention. I guess maybe he wanted to get some video and put it on his channel for clickbait. And he again reiterated that everything dictates everything. And I said, how is that informative? And he admitted that it was not. And then he set out to say that he could demonstrate that everything demonstrates everything while admitting it's not informative. I mean, this is the psychotic. That's what he said. I kid you. I'm not making this up.
Retarded.
Yep. That's T Jump.
For real. Oh, wow. Oh, hey, Darth, last time I was in it, you muted me, right? And I understood why you did it. It was because I tried to, someone took you away from a point, right? And then I tried to remind you of what your point was. And then you were like, you're talking over me. And then, like, you just muted me. And I was like, whatever. You got to be quick on that button, haven't you? In here, otherwise it just turns into madness, basically.
You know something? I must cause a lot of people to lose sleep.
I've caught people complaining about you muting them for 3 days.
Have you ever considered maybe they should consider therapy? You know, maybe they could learn to come to forgive me for server muting them.
It's okay, Crackville, and you mute me all the time on other servers, so it works out.
I actually don't. Wait, no, I don't.
You muted me like twice today.
Darth.
I had to leave the server I was on and come here because I kept muting me.
Darth, what does religion mean to you?
Well, hold on, gentlemen. We have to take a break for station identification. We have to pay some bills, so we will take our first commercial break from the American Atheists. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the son of Ronald Reagan, Ron Reagan Jr.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Oh, that's not loud. You guys didn't hear that, did you?
I heard it.
Yeah, we heard it.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
It's still not loud enough.
It was plenty loud.
No, it's not loud.
Really? Really?
It was plenty audible.
Yeah. He says he's Ron Reagan.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
No, I don't think the output was loud enough.
No, it's perfect.
Unless you're doing it.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Don't you like that? I gotta play that one.
That was bad. There you go.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Hey, Darth, when we're all before God on Judgment Day, make sure you bring that on a recorder so you can play that.
Hey, Ron, remember when you said this? Remember that, Ron? Wasn't that a good one?
Don't worry, he's going to be judged by his words anyway. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, gosh.
Jesus is going to bring that one up.
I love that. Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, not afraid of burning in hell.
I like how he says it so, casually. Smooth delivery.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Just that smooth voice.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
That'll work for him.
You should say the exact same thing except lifelong Christian, Darth. You should say, hi, I'm Darth Dawkins, lifelong Christian, not afraid of burning in hell.
No. Hi, I'm Darth Dawkins. Hi, I'm Darth Dawkins, lifelong Christian, not afraid of watching Ron Reagan burn in hell.
Yeah. That's better.
I mean, it's not really a joke. I think what we're really mocking is they're just beyond stupidity and arrogance. It's not going to be funny when they go to hell. I really don't hope that he goes to hell. I think what we have contempt for is their arrogance. I mean, we laugh because if we don't laugh, we're going to cry at the tragedy of this. You
want to know what's the more troubling part of it, right? Is I guess overall that innately I feel like they probably know, and then you all know that all of these people on their deathbed are going to be flip-floppers, and they're straight away going to shout, Jesus, Jesus, help me. Every single one of them.
No. Do you think Christopher Hitchens
in their head
changed his mind on his deathbed? I don't think so.
I think in their head they probably do everything.
You guys want to hear the real Christopher Hitchens? This is a beauty. Hey, let me pull it up.
And you're a cuck.
Wait, it wasn't Christopher Hitchens that apparently became a Christian. Was it Christopher or someone else?
That was his brother.
His kids don't like him. He's been cucked by his kids for 10 years.
Right. Okay, what's his brother called again?
I don't know, but he has a debate, like at least one public debate with him.
Oh, what, they debated one another?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Dawkins has no power in here anymore.
What do you mean?
I mean, I can cuck him as much as I want right now. What a fucking punk.
How about I mute you?
Okay, we're still waiting for some intelligent atheists.
Darth, you're not intelligent at all.
Intelligent atheist here.
Little boy, if you want to say something substantive, go ahead.
Darth,
if you're going to
don't
troll,
call me a little boy. I'm a grown man.
Okay, goodbye.
And I'm a Quaker, so I'm a Christian.
Darth, what do you think about Christians who identify as fascist? I've met a number of them on Discord. What do you make of that?
I don't take them very seriously.
Who really thinks about those people? People rarely think about those people.
Well, I mean, they're mainstream in places like, Eastern Europe, Russia, and stuff like that. So like they are maybe not in the United States to be taken seriously, but elsewhere.
But they're not really like mainstream per se, right? Like what group are you referring to? What group are you referring to exactly?
Well, I'm speaking about the people on Discord and stuff like that. But
I'm just saying because like fascistic people in like Germany, for instance, right? It's very frowned upon. Those people are not at the forefront of the mainstream in any way, shape, or form. They're not in England either. They're not in
I'm not
Poland.
referring to those people. I'm referring to people who are like in Poland, for instance, and advocate for authoritarianism. Hungary, same thing.
It doesn't mean look. Talk is cheap. There are a lot of people that publicly identify with as Christians, and they're not. You're only a Christian if you're born again. You've repented, realizing that you were going to hell. Not that you might, but that you are, and then you turn to Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. Many people who attend church have not done that. Okay,
agreed.
So,
but what do you make of
I'm gonna play a short clip, and we're gonna. Christopher Hitchens reveals the real reason why he's an atheist.
Can you play it for your microphone?
Yes, I will. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, it'll be clear. But you see, this interview was very, very revealing. When you set aside all of his bloviating and his rhetoric, this is the real reason he's an atheist. Listen.
So what if God actually exists, sir? And what if he actually has provided everything for you? He's granted you life. He has given you health. He has given you food. He's given you the trees to write your screed against him. He's provided you royalties. It all came from him. What if that is true, sir? Would he not have been good to you?
No. He wouldn't, because if that were true, it would.
No. Here, I'll play it again. No, it wouldn't be good. No. I mean, he's like a psychotic little 14-year-old.
He's granted you life. He has given you health. He has given you food. He's given you the trees to write your screed against him. He's provided you royalties. It all came from him. What if that is true, sir? Would he not have been good to you?
No. He wouldn't, because if that were true, it would mean that I had an eternal supervising parent.
Now, right there. Now, notice the answer doesn't mean that God wasn't good to him. What he's saying is God wouldn't be good to him because God is eternal and he's God. So he wouldn't be good because he's God.
Over him.
Well, supervising parent. But you see, if God is God, he can't help but be the Lord. He can't help but be sovereign.
But also, wouldn't God supervising you or being in a position of authority over you be another exhibition of his goodness towards you? That he's
Of course
going
it
to hold
would
you
be.
accountable?
Of course it would be. But notice the psychotic answer. And by the way, most people don't know this. Christopher Hitchens was not only a bisexual, he was an alcoholic. So we shouldn't be surprised. And he would regularly show up on TV and events all red-faced. This is symptomatic of people who are drunks. Okay.
Alcoholism, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And so he was an alcoholic. And here he says, well, God wouldn't have been good to him. And the reason why God wouldn't be good to him is because God was God. I mean, this is psychotic. All right. And atheists look up to him. Okay. So God would not have been good to him because God is God. Okay. But he doesn't want to say God wouldn't be good to him because God was being God. He just, because I have an eternal supervising parent who would not let me get on with my life. I dare say that I doubt that God. Imagine being brain damaged and actually enjoying that kind of noise.
Yeah, for real, bro.
Okay, so Christopher Hitchens is going to continue here, and this is just, it's like borderline psychotic here.
It just proves he's a control
freak. Let me just
freak.
finish. Well, he said, God would let me get on with my life. I dare say that God probably did not providentially intervene and restrict Christopher Hitchens from being a bisexual and a drunk and a foaming at the mouth atheist. So what shows you is the reason why he believes there is no God is not because he has good intellectual reasons. It's just because he's an anti-theist. He hates God, right?
Yep.
And I'll continue.
Sir. And what if he actually has provided everything for you? He's granted you life. He has given you health. He has given you food. He's given you the trees to write your screed against him. He's provided you royalties. It all came from him. What if that is true, sir? Would he not have been good to you?
No. He wouldn't, because if that were true, it would mean that I had an eternal supervising parent who would never die and let me get on with my life, never let me grow up, keep me under surveillance.
But you have, sir.
Supervision every minute of my life,
but you
constantly asked me to be thanking and praising him.
The horror of horrors. God was constantly asking him to thank and praise him. What horrors to thank and praise God for his goodness. See how horrifying that is?
I actually enjoy doing that. I enjoy that part, but okay.
The guy's borderline insane.
It would mean I had an eternal supervising parent who would never die and let me get on with my life, never let me grow up, keep me under surveillance.
But you have, sir.
Supervision every minute of my life, constantly asked me to be thanking and praising.
So this is the essence of sin, okay? He wants to be his own God. He wants to be a bitter rebel. He wants to do what he wants rather than to do what God wants. And he because he refuses to be grateful and to praise God for God's goodness, which is just simply showing appropriate respect for God's characteristics. So this just goes to show you the evil disposition that was Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah,
I think it would
that wasn't part of the secret.
In North Korea, I think it would be a horrible outcome.
So if God existed, it's like living in North Korea. Does everybody see what a bullshitter this guy is?
Yeah, because the people in North Korea hold God to be true, don't they? In fact, they do the opposite.
No. The issue is the issue is this: walking around believing that God is right now and that we are within His plan of history and redemption. There are people around here that are not shaking in their boots that if they sneeze in the wrong direction, they're going to be killed or tortured. But there are people like that in North Korea. But he's saying if we believe in God and we recognize God as our God and we're thankful and praise for him, it's like North Korea. This is psychotic, okay? This is not the thinking of a normal human being, all right?
Well, not sure that God is Kim Jong-il, but what if what I said is true?
Kim Jong-il, he has a different opinion.
So if that is the God who's made you and created you, he's allowed you to live your life, shouldn't that be a sign of kindness to you?
No, I don't want anyone's permission to do.
See that? Notice how he doesn't answer the question. This is typically what atheists do.
Shut the fuck up, you Jews.
Yeah, he has to strawman the guy who is talking to him. He has to strawman the position, Darth.
He's not even answering the question.
Of course, he has to do it that way.
He says, he says, so what if God made you and he created you and he's allowed you to live your life? Okay? And then he goes, no. And the answer that he gives is not germane to what the interviewer here is asking him. This is more see, this is typical of atheists. This is not uncommon for atheists. You ask them a direct question and they pretend like they're responding and they give you a psychotic answer. That's not an answer to the question.
Shouldn't that be a sign of kindness to you?
No, I don't want anyone's permission to live my life. Thanks.
All righty. Well, it's not that you've been asked, or that you asked him.
Now, where does anybody think acknowledging God as God and being thankful to him and praising him for being God, how is that groveling? I mean, this is more alcoholic psychoticness. How is that groveling?
He assumes that the everyday person that believes in God is in a constant, perpetual state of asking God to not kill them for their sin, as opposed to us being heirs of Christ.
No, I mean, no. To say that this is groveling is just the rantings of an alcoholic.
All right, Christopher Hitchens, round 2 of What If. What if God exists? He's provided everything for you. He's kept you together by the power of his word. If that is truly God, do you believe that God, if he's provided everything for you, has rights on your life?
No. It's like he's like a defiant 13-year-old who didn't take their Ritalin. No, I'm not going to make my bed. You can't make me. No.
Provided everything for you, has rights on your life?
No.
Because?
Why should he? What gives him his right?
Because he's the God of the Bible.
It's so funny. I mean, you know what? He paraded himself around as this intellect, right? And he goes, why should he? What gives him this right? Have you guys ever heard somebody arguing, saying to somebody else and say, who died and made you God?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody not heard somebody say that? Who died and made you God? It's an expression that's very common in the English world, okay? And it's just like, what gives him this right? This is how psychotic Christopher Hitchens was, okay? So in other words, God being God doesn't have the prerogative of the creator.
It also shows he's conceptualizing God in an incorrect way when he says what gives God the right, that God derives this right from someplace else or something
He's
else.
just conceptualizing God as like another human being who just has greater powers than he does. Who gave him that right? Well, the answer is this: if you don't believe in God, then there are no actual rights. Whatever rights you think you have are just what other human beings are going to permit you to do.
Yep.
So what gives him this right? I mean, you know what? I've done a review of this. I can't tell you how many times we've done this, at least a half a dozen times. And it's always rich hearing the same psychotic rantings every time.
Because he owns you. He's created everything for you. He's kept you alive.
I don't want to be owned. I don't want to be owned.
I don't want to be owned. I don't want to be owned.
Because he owns you. He's created everything for you. He's kept you alive.
I don't want to be owned. I don't want to be owned, and I don't recognize anyone's right to own me.
I don't want to be owned, and I don't recognize anyone. So in other words, the real reason he spent much of his adult life with these psychotic atheist ramblings is because he doesn't want God to be God. I mean, it doesn't get any more revealing than this. This is the mind of the atheist, folks.
Yeah, he refuses
to No. This isn't just the mind of Christopher Hitchens. This is the mind of every single atheist. I don't want to be owned. I don't want God to be God. I don't want to thank God, because if I thank God, that's groveling. I don't want God to be my eternal supervising power. This is the mindset of every atheist, folks. This is why this video was so good.
It's an admission, actually, that God exists, actually, as well. It's a complete admission that God exists.
Hold on a second. We have breaking news. Hold on. Yes, Mr. Producer, go ahead. We have a breaking announcement from Ron Reagan Jr.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Okay, we resume our regularly scheduled broadcast.
He will be when he's burning in it.
Yeah, which is that he's going to be where Christopher Hitchens is right now.
What I thought was funny about Hitchens.
Oh, has Hitchens died? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hitchens has been dead for several years, and he said, he goes because he was sick and he was dying of cancer, and he goes, if you hear these rumors that there's a deathbed conversion, don't believe it.
Well, there was. I mean, he found out that God existed.
Well, that was after he. Well, look, he knew God existed before he died.
Well,
but when you die, you can no longer continue to fool yourself. You see, I say this all the time. Once the idea enters your head as a child that God is, it's not something that you can eradicate. You can suppress it. You can suppress it by, concocting from moment to moment this make-believe. There is no God. There is no God. There is no God. There is no evidence for God. There is no evidence for God. We live in a multiverse. Evolution is true. Charles Darwin said so. Evolution is true. But this is all suppressing the truth that they already know that God is. You can't eradicate it. The idea that we're about God. Yeah. Go ahead.
Why are you gay?
You heard it here.
See, this is
no. Speak into the microphone, sir. Speak up. Say that again.
No. He left. He left.
Oh, well, I wanted to hear an atheist
You
apologist.
see, this is what we're left with. They sit there. They want to badmouth me. They want to slander me, and I'm waiting. Where are you, atheists? I will give you whatever mic time you want, uninterrupted. You will not be spoken over. Okay, I will set a timer.
Speaking of the gay issue, it's surprising that Matt got so mad at Otangelo and the ACA. I thought they were supposed to be LGBT affirming. So what does Matt care that he has a boyfriend? Anyway.
Yeah, it was like a weird flex, I think.
Well, like I said, well, you know what's funny? What would Matt Dillabloviator be more upset about? Otangelo posting a pre-plastic surgery of his homosexual boyfriend, transvestite, before he had plastic surgery to look like a woman, or if Otangelo had posted his rear-end genital grabbing, cheek exposing where the sun don't shine in living color and 3D. What about that picture? Would Matt have been upset about that?
No, he wouldn't care about that.
That's Matt. And by the way, and I'm trying to be careful here and not be too graphic, but that's what's on his Twitter feed. What's on this guy's Twitter feed. Okay, he has no pants on. He's grabbed his genitals so you can't see them, and he spread his butt cheeks for as wide as they can go so you can see everything in its glory. I mean, and I'm not making that up. This is, the prince of atheists, Matt Dillabloviator's homosexual boyfriend. This is the kind of stuff that his boyfriend posts to Twitter, and people wonder why Matt's an atheist.
If you go onto Instagram and look at anyone in the gay community, what you'll find within about 5 photos is someone in a piece of kink and a pentagram on a necklace somewhere. And it's nearly every time, believe it or not. If you go and look at that guy that had monkeypox that was gay, as one of the guys that came out, and he was like, I'm going to show you my whole journey of my disgusting boils on my face and everything like this.
Do you know that they're changing the name of it now? They're
What are they
calling
changing it
they're calling it M-pox.
to? That's neat. That's neat. They could say it quicker.
Remember, they wanted to call it COVID. Why don't we call it what it is? The Chinese virus, the Hong Kong flu.
Oh wow, dude, that's like
You
hilarious.
can, wait a minute, we can call it the Spanish flu, but you can't call it the Chinese virus, right?
Right.
What was the name of the city that it came from? Somebody refresh my memory.
Wuhan.
The Wuhan virus. You can't call it the Wuhan virus because that's racist.
It's actually just geographically correct. But yeah, no, that guy who had the monkeypox stuff, if you went onto his Instagram, all you would see him at is these big parties with loads of other fully grown men with makeup on, with pentagrams on their necklaces and on their watches. It's just ridiculous. Who's the young child in the background muttering?
Okay, so listen, I'm getting tired. I'll just one last call out. Do we have any intelligent atheists? Probably not.
Right here. Right here.
Good. Good. Tell me why you're an atheist.
I just see no reason to invoke a God into the universe.
Okay, do you follow that standard consistently? Yeah. What's your reason to believe in the not God world?
Everything can be explained. Everything was formed, the earth, the solar.
Oh, okay. So everything can be explained without God. And how do you know that?
How the planet got here? Everything was
No,
formed.
what I'm saying to you is how do you explain that everything does not and cannot stand in causal relations to God? Do you believe in the Big Bang?
Yes.
Okay, would the singularity exist without deriving from the necessity of God?
One more time.
Did the singularity exist in not standing in causal relations to God?
Well, we don't know.
Well, busted! You just shot yourself in the foot. You told me you could explain everything without God.
I didn't say
but now you're
anything.
telling me, no, you just said, yeah, sir, stop with the deception, because if you lie, I'm going to mute you. Now, what is your reason to believe in the not God world? You said because we can explain everything without God. Now, explain the singularity, how you determined that it exists with independence from God. Explain that.
I was talking about the earth.
Explain to me. You said we can. You said, listen to me. Don't overtalk me. You said you could explain everything without God. Did you not?
After the Big Bang.
Okay. So you can't explain everything without. Well, okay. Why do all the subatomic particles remain in existence? Are they absolute? But you told me you could explain that.
Yeah, well, if you go read the books.
Yeah, okay. Listen to me. How do you know your explanation without reference to God is true?
I don't even understand your question.
You told me God does not exist because you can explain this world without God. So that means your explanation must mean that God can't exist and that it's true. How do you know these explanations rule God out?
I don't know.
Yeah, you see what you're doing is you're spewing. Every atheist that I encounter, even the professional atheist, they all do the same thing. You guys, all you do is spew out cliches. And then when we ask you to defend these cliches, you fold just like you folded now.
I'm not. Okay.
You did, because you told me you could explain everything without God. I asked you to do that, and you said, I don't.
Sir,
Sir, that doesn't get you. That doesn't get you to atheism. Okay, right now, listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully.
Everything after the Big Bang.
Okay, yeah. If I hear you over talk me again, I'm going to kick you out of the room. Are we clear? Now, explain to me right now how the moon exists necessarily and does not stand in causal relations to God right now. How do you know that?
And I said we can explain everything without God.
Answer my question.
I say we, I meant human.
Answer my question. Do you hear me agitated?
Okay, I'll answer your question. I got it.
You're not answering my question. Explain to me how you know right now that the moon right now exists with complete independence of God right now. Explain to me how you know that.
The moon was formed by natural process.
No, sir. We're talking about the moon right now, not the past. Right now, your position is that moon exists right now with complete independence of God sustaining it into existence. Explain to me how you know why the moon exists with independence of God right now.
Because it was formed from a natural process.
Okay, you're an idiot.
You don't need a God to.
He's not talking about the past.
Do you see?
It's contemporary existence.
Listen. How many times did I make it clear to this numbskull? Tell me right now, not the past. Tell me right now how the moon stays in existence from moment to moment and does not and cannot stand in causal relations to God right now. And how many times did I express that to him? And then he starts talking about the past. This is the kind of idiots that we're dealing with. We can't find any intelligent atheist to talk to. This is shocking.
Wait, how are atheists not intelligent?
I didn't say that there are no intelligent atheists.
You can't find one.
I'm explaining it to you. I'm talking about an atheist who can intelligently present atheism.
Oh, so you mean like Reddit atheists?
No, there are no atheists who can defend atheism intelligently. They don't exist. Even when I ask the professional atheists with PhDs, even including Graham Oppy, all he wanted to simply just say, well, there's just naturalism and God is just an unnecessary overlay.
Well, you
that's
can't
not
something that's irrational, Darth. So
yeah.
No,
the point. Irrational? Why? For many reasons. Because God would have to exist in order to predicate. Atheism is a form of predication. No God, and there's nothing to institute what is, can be, or cannot be. So you can't predicate.
And atheism can't rationally defend it.
Yeah, atheism is a universal negative, and there's no way to ground universal declarations in a world where there's not a God, and God makes us to know that there are universal states. Okay. Atheism is in a world where there's nothing identifiable or defensible that connects the dots between any discrete states of affairs, nor can it be known what each discrete state of affair is, why it exists. So this is why atheism is incoherent, sir.
Oh, okay.
The reason why people are atheists, if you had been in here earlier, I played a video audio clip of the late, not so great, drunk bisexual Christopher Hitchens, where he revealed what his atheism was about. It's because he doesn't want God to be God. He hates the idea that he has to be thankful and to praise God, and that he's going to be accountable to God for how he's going to live.
Well, it's
this
not
is why he hates God.
To God, it's accountable to a holy, righteous, and just God. That's what.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because if God was some like debauched, pro-gay, let's say, supportive of ridiculous things like transhumanism and all of that, like I'm sure Christopher Hitchens would have been all well and good with God. You know?
Oh yeah, those kinds of people were never right with God.
No, they're right with God, meaning that those people could be people of God. They choose to walk away from God.
Yeah, but those people need to find God, though. You know what I mean?
They found him and then decided to go against him, I believe. Moreover,
so you believe that they know God's real, but they just don't want him to think. They just don't want him to be real.
Everybody who has a brain or who is not brain damaged or a registered Democrat
Well, it's
knows
unironically
God
true
exists.
because like it's actually part of the brain to believe that God's real.
Well, where did you get that from?
I saw it somewhere. It says that there's a part of the brain that like kind of has religion built into it.
Yeah, sir. How old are you?
18.
Okay. Yeah, you're equating the brain with the mind. The two are not synonymous.
Really?
Well, yeah, we can't pin consciousness down to one portion of the brain whatsoever. In fact, we have instances where people have one whole side of their brain destroyed, they're still conscious. We have another person with the other side of their brain destroyed, they're still conscious. At what part of the brain then is the conscious mind derived? Is it a stationary position in every brain?
Yeah.
No.
Now, it is true that you lose your capability to think in certain ways because man is both a immaterial and material, and somehow the immaterial at some level interfaces with the material that we yet to know about. But in our modern era, what they want to brainwash you into thinking, and he deafens himself, is to think that the mind is just the brain, which is ridiculous. Because if the mind is just the brain, then nobody. Well, you see, you've been brainwashed into modern evolutionary thinking that the mind is just the brain, that we have evolved from monkeys, right? If the mind is just the brain, then nobody's culpable for anything. We just do what we were programmed to do.
Really?
Okay.
Mind is beyond the brain, Darth Dawkins?
The mind is the immaterial aspect granted to us by God to be made in our image that interfaces with our brain and our body. Okay. But modern man not wanting, well, yeah, it's called dualism, sir. It's called substance dualism. All right. It means that you ever heard that you're made in the image of God? You never heard of that?
No, I heard that. No, I know about that.
Okay.
I know about that.
Okay, but modern man doesn't want to acknowledge God, doesn't want to acknowledge that he's made in God's image. So he chooses instead to believe Charles Darwin's theory of evolution and to think that humans are just less hairy, more intelligent chimpanzees.
I mean, but don't you think that we look really similar to them?
Don't you think that you shouldn't interrupt somebody while they're talking?
Yeah, that's rude, bro. Don't interrupt Mr. Darth Dawkins.
So many modern people today just believe that they're just less hairy, more intelligent chimpanzees, and that the mind is the same thing as the brain. And that's ridiculous. Even experts who are atheists or materialists are utterly baffled by human consciousness. They don't take this childish route that
every time
that the mind is. They don't take this childish position that the mind is completely synonymous with the brain, and that's all it is. The more you know about human consciousness, the more you're going to be baffled and not just have a stupid, simplistic view that the mind is the brain.
Well, I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm so stupid.
Well, I wasn't saying that it's a part of the mind.
No. It's not that you're stupid. It's just that you're young and you haven't been exposed to some of these ideas. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
I wasn't saying that it's a part of the mind that believes in religion.
Listen to me. Please don't overtalk. Listen, I call people stupid on a regular basis because they choose to be stupid. But I think that you're even being unfair to yourself. You said you're 18. You haven't been exposed.
No, I didn't say my age. I didn't say my age yet.
I think.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Then the other guy did. I thought who said they were stupid?
Oh, me. I said I'm stupid because I asked about that.
Okay. Well, I don't think you're being stupid here. Trust me. If
I'm close to 18. Yeah, I'm very close to 18.
Okay. Well, look. You're not.
I'm older.
Not stupid. It's just that you aren't as well informed as you maybe will be someday. You're not stupid. Trust me, there are plenty 18-year-olds and 28-year-olds and 48-year-olds that I call stupid, and I call them stupid because they choose to be stupid. You're not being
probably deny God or whatever, and at least I don't believe we come from African apes. So
yeah. You're not. Let me just say one more thing, okay? You're not stupid because you're not informed on certain topics, okay?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I'm just ignorant then, not knowing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, Liz, Doug, what do you got to say since you want to talk all the time? What's up, bro? What do you
Hold on
gotta
a
say?
second. Hold on.
Dude, can you do you tell people to stop interrupting?
No,
You talk
hold
for way
on a
too
second.
long.
Hold on. We have hold on. Yes, Mr.
Let
Producer.
Daddy talk.
Hold on a second. We have breaking news. Yes, we have breaking news. Ron Reagan would like to make an announcement. Go ahead, Ron Reagan.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of.
That didn't come through. Ron, you didn't come through. Can you repeat that, Ron?
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
There you go. Breaking news. Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Okay, but what I was saying,
Who's Ron Reagan?
You know what? You know what? When Ron Reagan dies, I'm going to visit his gravesite, and I'm going to throw down a package of Stay Puft marshmallows.
What the? That sounds psycho. What the?
You didn't get the joke. Don't worry.
You didn't get the joke.
I don't know who Ron Reagan is. Is he like the president Reagan's son or some shit?
Yeah, yes, he is. He is President Reagan's son.
What?
And he's a famous atheist, and he's not afraid of burning in hell. So when he dies, I'm going to visit his grave and throw down a package of marshmallows on his grave.
That guy's a beta male.
We can eat some s'mores. We can eat some s'mores.
You don't burn in hell. Hell is just a place away from God.
Well, you do. It's the lake of fire. Well, it's the lake of fire.
Girls. The Bible is very clear that it's going to be fiery. It's going to be outer darkness. It's going to be fiery. And Jesus said that there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth where the worm dieth not. It's deliberately depicted as a fire. Okay.
Well, what do you mean by fire? Because like I could have a fire in my stomach. My stomach could hurt. It could feel like a fire sensation.
Look. Let me explain something to you. Okay. If you'd like, girls, please. If you'd like, send me a DM. I'll send you a link to a book that you can read. It's called Hell on Trial. And he goes over the various views on hell and why hell is a literal place where it's fiery. Okay.
Oh, could you send that to me?
So is heaven like ice then or something?
Villain. It's villain. You could send that to me if you'd like. I would read it.
I mean, why?
How does hell have like a
heaven is like getting free food at Chick-fil-A for life.
But Chick-fil-A sucks.
No, and then you really turn into a cyborg where your only purpose
ban that guy, Darth. Ban him.
You're not even yourself anymore. Like everything you think of and stuff like that, that's what it costs your human body. I don't understand how you could be in like a heaven and still be yourself.
Listen to me carefully. Either you are going to speak about God and the things about God if and only if God decides to reveal that to us, and he has through the scriptures, or you're just simply going to be shooting, you're going to be shooting your mouth off as a figment of your imagination. Okay. And nobody cares about your figment of your imagination or the figment of my imagination. Exactly. If you go and if you want to go and study the Bible,
you're sucking his dick so hard.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, all right, you're muted. Okay.
A warm meal.
Yeah, you know how it's funny how they always resort to like sexual stuff.
Yeah, well, that's because they're morons. Anyway, we can't find any intelligent atheists, so I'm going to go to bed.
Right here, buddy, but we know you're afraid.
Hi, Darth.
Oh,
Talk.
Chicken shit.
Great content needs a great.
Oh, you guys just got ragged, dude. You guys just got ragged, dude. You guys won't come down to the Christian chat and debate Christians because your worldview is bankrupt. Beta males.
Darth's a chicken shit. He knows he can't handle intelligent atheists.
If he's chicken shit, then how come you didn't debate him?
Why didn't you debate him?
I just offered to, but he ran.
No, you didn't.
This is a guy
For a while.
that turns down money to have public debates.
I mean, you can ask him a question anytime. I'm sure